Chris. It's Pete.
This is Steve. It's Pixel FM. So thanks for coming back, guys. It's been a busy couple of weeks. We got a lot to talk about tonight, and we're going to start off like we always do with what we've been up to lately, and whoever wants to go first, go right ahead.
Personally, I've been building my Turbografx collection. I have 3 games so far.
That's a hell of a collection.
Oh my god, yes. But I have about 4 or 5 more lined up right now. But, I mean, so far, I guess I've played for the Turbografx Ninja Spirit, which is so far one of my favorites.
I like Ninja Spirit more than I like Ninja Gaiden. I love Ninja Spirit. I remember the first time I ever played it, I was at Chris's house, and we were just going through Turbografx games. He has a ton of them, and he was like, "You'll probably really like this." And actually, I got pretty far into it. Like we were playing it.
I've never seen a game that style that you can actually have mirror images of yourself.
Yeah, the power-ups are really interesting in that game. Some of them are straight copies of Ninja Gaiden, but there's some really cool stuff in that game.
The only problem with Ninja Spirit is when you die, you lose all the power-ups.
Yeah.
So you go back down to
and you
nothing.
come back with a sword.
Yeah, because you get to be this beast. You have three forms following you, and you just hit everything on the screen, and you blow it up or whatever, and that's great. But as soon as you die, basically you're done, unless you're at the beginning or the middle of a level, so you can get enough power-ups before you get deep enough into the level.
But other than that, I really haven't done much.
What are the games you're looking forward to getting on it?
I really want Bloody Wolf. Bloody Wolf is one.
I don't think we ever played that.
No, we didn't. I didn't want to buy it because it was like 40.
Yeah, it's gone down in
price range.
It's gone down in price. I've seen it. Yeah. I remember when I was actively buying Turbografx games. I think I saw copies go for 15, HuCard only, not complete ones.
HuCard only. Other than that, I'd like to get Dungeon Explorer. Probably pick up Bomberman 93 at some time, which is going to be a pain in the ass to find. What's the other one? Pac-Land, which Chris let me borrow. So I'm going to play that tonight.
I'm sure you change that to lever control.
I'm going to forget.
Yeah, there's some great games on that system. It's one of those systems that most people don't remember because they didn't have it, because it was really kind of the odd man out. It was meant to compete with the NES, and in a lot of ways it's superior. And there's some great games. Like the NES has Zelda. I'm not a Zelda fan. I've tried to get into it. Maybe I will eventually. But Turbografx had its counterpart, like all systems do. They always had their counterpart. Sonic, Sonic was on Genesis, and Mario was on Nintendo. But Turbografx had Utopia, which was like Zelda. And that game's fucking awesome. That game is a great game.
Chris said it was better than Zelda. He actually let me borrow that as well. So
it's probably better than the first Zelda, but not Link to the Past. Link to the Past.
I mean, that's apples to oranges. Well, that's two generations.
Compared to the NES with the Turbografx, with the sound effects and just the graphics, they're beautiful.
The colors are really bright in Turbografx games. The sound is usually generally really superior.
I think really the only advantage NES has is just the AV hookups. Turbografx is always through RF.
Unless you bought the Turbo Booster.
Yeah.
Which now is ridiculously expensive. They're about $100 to $150.
There's actually people that will sell broken Turbografx CDs because it can act as a booster.
Yep.
And you'll see those go for $150 online.
Nice thing about Turbo Duos as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Duos, you can save games too, which the Turbografx didn't save many games. It was mostly passwords.
Yeah.
Utopia is a password game.
Oh, great.
Yeah. The worst password game in all of gaming is on the Turbografx. And I gave that to Russell as well to try. It's Order of the Griffin. So get a pen and paper, write down 50 characters that are upper or lowercase, and then over not every character, but over most characters there is either semicolons above them, what you call those, or a dash mark or a hash. And if you get one thing wrong, no go.
It's completely gone.
No go.
To uppercase.
The best thing is me and a buddy. I mean, I bought my Turbografx brand new in 1993, 94 when it was kind of dying.
Yeah. And
I bought it from a local EB, and I actually bought it from a guy who finally at one point hired me as his assistant manager. I love the Turbografx. It's my favorite 16-bit system.
That's not a 16-bit system.
Oh, that's right.
That's 8-bit. Yeah, that's 8. Master System NES.
Was it 2 8-bit processors or something like that?
Sort of, yeah.
It was something weird.
It was like the Jaguar was real gimmicky, and there was fake science behind
64 bit.
Isn't like the system does 16 and the cartridges are only 8-bit or something?
It's something weird like that. It's been a while since I've got read up on that stuff, because when I finally decided to get into the system, I did a ton of research on it, and there's some really interesting stuff. the system is really fascinating. The problem with it, and I will tell this to anybody that wants to get into collecting games, the two worst systems to collect games for are Atari and Turbografx, because if you want the good stuff, it's really expensive.
Yep.
Atari, you can get away with it. There are some really cheap, great games. Turbografx, they're going to run you some money. Like, Splatterhouse is amazing because it's only a way to play the original version of that game in America, and that's a pricey game. I think it's come down a little bit.
I actually picked that up for a complete version for $25.
Yeah, that blows me away because I paid just for my jewel case manual and game. I think I paid like $45 for it.
It's in perfect condition.
Yeah, Splatterhouse is great. Final Act Twin is
the greatest racing RPG ever.
Yeah, I think it's the only racing RPG. It looks like Pokemon. Yep. Like when you're not racing, it's like a top-down Pokemon-looking game. It's really interesting.
Yeah, the racers come out of the grass, the tall grass or the trees. You're walking in trees. A racer comes out, and you have to race him.
Yes.
Around a track. I don't get it. We're in the forest.
Did you stop playing it?
I played like 10 minutes of it. I made it to the first boss.
I never won a race.
You gotta lose a bunch, actually, because even when you
get
lose,
XP,
you get money.
Yeah.
And then you get money and you build up your car, and then as your car gets better, you can have this win.
Oddly enough, one of the ones I enjoyed the most was it's World Series Baseball or World Class Baseball.
World Class Baseball.
Yeah, World Series Baseball is a Game Gear.
Genesis.
Yeah, that's Game Gear Genesis. World Class Baseball is actually really fun for an 8-bit baseball game.
Their other sports titles were pretty fucking terrible. Sadly.
Yeah, like the TV sports games are awful.
They're really cool concepts, but
Yeah.
they're just bad.
Now,
they didn't have any really American companies making games for them.
No, it was all Japanese.
So it was all Japanese.
Yeah. One that I know that Chris really loves is Sidearms. Which is fantastic. It's a side-scrolling shooter. Actually, that does get. It's the levels are vertical, like you're going up and down into like caves and stuff. But it's still a horizontal.
The controls
shooter.
are kind of weird. I've never seen controls like that.
It's Fantasy Zone controls where one button
forward to turn around.
Yeah, one button fires forward, one button fires backwards.
No, you were gonna tell me something about that game on why not.
After he played it, no, it's a good game. It's just me and Steve have this thing with Sidearms that after you become after you become the mech, right?
Yeah, you like level up.
When you get to the second board and you get the mech thing and you're bigger and you shoot faster, you like
destroy
convulse.
everything. Oh.
Your guy looks like he convulses, like he gets in.
It's like the scene. It's the scene in is it Tommy Boy where he's ripping?
Yeah.
Something like the bun or whatever the hell he has.
He's mocking
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Looney Tunes?
No. Oh brother, where art thou? That's supposed. No, that's.
Okay, they're not mocking Oh Brother Where Art Thou. That movie came out a decade later.
Of Mice and Men. He's mocking Of Mice and Men with the stroking the bun and he rips the bun in half.
Yeah. Did you eat paint chips as a kid?
Yeah, I did.
You guys want this or Gladiators?
Yeah, Gladiators.
Yeah. The Turbografx is a wonderful system, though. It really is. It's got a ton of great games, but at that price point, man, it's tough to deal with if you're getting into this.
Yeah, it's a really tough one to collect for. I had a chance to actually buy one of the most expensive games for half price and passed it up, and sadly, I look back and I probably shouldn't have. I had a chance to get Bonk 3 for $150.
Yeah, which is a good deal. It sounds like somebody.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah, there's probably somebody listening right now and be like $150 for a game, but when it goes for $300 to $400, it's
and this was a game. When you buy a game at that price, it better be mint. And this was one in my hand. That was worth the $300. Sadly, and I let it go. But it was a smart decision on myself. I didn't have 150.
I've certainly, looked back on some of the money I've spent on games and kind of been like, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
I did buy Airzonk. I had to have that.
Oh, I didn't know you actually got that.
I'm missing the cardboard box. But it's nice. You got the beautiful manual.
That's the interesting thing about Turbografx games is most everybody will remember Super Nintendo games coming in cardboard boxes, Nintendo games coming in cardboard boxes. I had no idea Turbografx games came in cardboard boxes. I had only ever seen just the cards or the jewel cases until one night Chris pulls out a game. And I was like, he's like, that's what they came in.
With the plastic sleeve.
Yeah.
Chris told me about that
one.
Yeah,
later games didn't even have the jewel case because they were trying to save money.
Yeah.
Sadly, trying to put them out, which makes the games worth more. Like Order of the Griffin, I was telling you about that earlier. That one's like a $100 game, but with the box, it's worth more. Most people only have the manual.
Anything else you've been playing, man?
I mean, other than Terraria and hating that game, trying to beat it.
You didn't beat it?
Yeah, I'm in hard mode right now. You're in easy mode when you start, when you beat the main boss, it turns the world into hard mode, where everything gets 50 times harder. So right now I'm doing that. I tried to face the first boss, and I got destroyed with the best armor on. So right now at this point, I am waiting for a friend to buy it or someone else to get up to the level with me so I can actually beat the game. But other than that, between the Turbografx and that, haven't really been playing anything.
I decided to finally jump back into Far Cry Hardcore because I really was enjoying that game, and then I bought the digital one and lost my save. So I jumped back into Far Cry and decided to go around and murder animals for about 7 hours, upgrading all my item pouches and all my holsters and stuff. So now I literally have everything open. I can carry 4 guns. I've got all the weapons I want. I have everything open. Now I just am going around and doing the towers and then opening up the bases. And it's still a lot of fun.
The tower system is really interesting because essentially you unlock the best weapons through that.
Yep.
You don't even have to save up money because you just get them in the store when you do the tower.
I did buy 1 gun because it's basically like a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
It's an assault rifle.
The game is a ton of fun. It really is. It's a really cool open world just to kind of explore. And I would say to you, definitely look at Blood Dragon after you.
I will. I want to finish it.
Yeah.
That's going to be one we're going to talk about soon. I've got to finish Far Cry 3, but I want to buy Blood Dragon. Actually, I'm going to make my buddy buy it because he never gave me the money for Far Cry. So I'm going to make him give me the $15 and I'm going to buy Blood Dragon. And we're going to play that. And maybe he'll come for one of our episodes. But other than that, I played through The Walking Dead like we agreed upon. I played through 400 days, and I am going to venture into my Turbo Duo games next week since our good buddy Pete, I love you, man. You fixed my Turbo Duo as much as you can for now. I probably got a lens, but I'm happy with it, and you have no idea. You've made a very large man very happy.
It's actually a box full of rocks. You haven't even tried it yet.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's a box full.
If it turns on and it boots up my game and they sound great and...
So you actually got it up and running, or
I
most of it?
I broke a wire in a connection, and it took me forever to figure out where to buy new connectors and then how to do them correctly. And there's no guides or anything, and I'm usually a pretty smart man when it comes to fixing things, but I was... If you could do stuff wrong, I did it wrong. I put stuff in backwards and try to jam things in connectors in backwards and whatnot, and it got to the point where I couldn't work on anything because that was the main project I had. And if you get too frustrated and you have a soldering iron in your hand, bad things happen. Working on Steve's arcade board, I burnt my leg with a soldering iron, which...
Wait, how'd you burn your leg?
I dropped the soldering iron and caught it by the cord. I could have went anywhere. I'm glad it hit my leg instead of,
Hit you, Jimmy?
Yes.
Hit you, Jamie.
I don't normally fix things in my underwear, but it was... I was clothed.
I don't know about Russell, I don't know how kind of handy you get with things, but I think all of us in this room have had pretty bad experiences with soldering irons in our life, yeah. I believe it was my father that told me he actually gripped one once while it was on, and I've certainly burned the hell out of my...
Burned the shit out of my index finger last year because I was doing lights in an Xbox. And
Yep.
I borrowed Chris's, so I'll probably hurt myself sometime soon.
I had one. I have a new soldering iron now, but I had one beforehand that was like the most dangerous piece of equipment. Like it was like nothing about this thing was. Yeah, it was just like
the handle was.
It was like the outlet in A Christmas Story where there's like a million things plugged into it. It was just like it was like spark shooting out of it when I would like tin it, and it was bad. But I had a new one because I did some work on my Sega Saturn, and I was like almost done finishing this thing up. I'm like, I didn't burn myself, and as soon as I was done like getting ready to like put it onto the sponge and like take the soldering off the tip, just went right into my thumb, and that thing blistered bad for about a week and a half. It looked really bad for about a week and a half, and that was the worst one in a while. I'm decent enough where I know that I get all right with it, but yeah, those are fun adventures.
Burns are always fun.
That's mostly what I've been playing. I really want to start playing Persona 4.
Yes, I really need I need somebody to talk to about this.
I just got to start chugging at it a little bit, a couple hours a week at least, something.
For me, it was one of those games where because of the way that because you're going to play Golden. The thing that's the biggest difference is with the PS2 version, you could save in the dungeons. You can't save mid dungeon during Golden, and each dungeon is a minimum of an hour to an hour and a half. There are some dungeons that are going to be longer than that. I think the only dungeon that has a save point midway is the very first one, and they get progressively longer and harder as the game goes on.
Good thing there's idle.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the nice thing about the Vita.
It's tough, but that's a
Make
game
sure it's
where
charged, because it will die.
Yeah, I hope we get to talk about that game eventually, as I would really like to go in depth with somebody about that, because I finished it earlier this year, and it is number 2 on my slots of all-time favorite games.
My birthday is coming up. I'm actually asking for that, so hopefully I'll...
From
who?
Yeah.
Not from me, right?
From, you, Steve. You can get it for me.
All right, you can borrow my copy.
Oh, man.
I had 2 copies at one point, and then Chris bought my other one. Yeah.
Worth every penny.
Exactly, yeah.
You play any other games? Or is it
No,
my
that's
turn
pretty
yet?
much it. I'm pretty much spent. I played it. I actually, this will be one of the 2-week spans where I say I didn't play Madden. Didn't play Madden. I played
you
little
okay?
NBA. No, it's something you got to get out of your system every once in a while, and I'll jump back in, and me and my buddy will finish our 9th season that we just started.
Yeah.
So, it's not like we haven't played our fair share of Madden. I get my money out of it every year. NBA, I played a couple games of NBA. Bastard beat me again, but whatever. We'll get back at him. Ooh, it's mine.
And Steve and I'm sure Steve and I have been playing a lot of PC games.
Yep.
It's Steam Summer Sale, so we're spending money left and right. I looked at the badges they have now, and it'll tell you have to spend a certain amount of money to unlock more of the Summer Sale badges.
Every $10 you get something. So every $10 you spend.
I haven't bought anything yet today. I plan on it. I've already spent $44.
So what have you got? Because I bought 2 games. I bought Fez and Don't Starve.
I bought Fez and Don't Starve. I bought Chamber. I bought a lot of games, and I don't even remember what they are.
Because you're never going to play them. Yeah, Chivalry. Chivalry, if anybody out there's listening to this...
What did you guys pay for Chivalry?
I paid full price because that game's the fucking dope.
I want that on consoles. I really do.
I have no idea what I paid.
You would
it was
not
on sale.
I think it was $6.75 or something like that for
that's not
for
so
Chivalry.
bad.
The thing with Chivalry is I never had anybody that I knew that played it. That game is unbelievably fun. It's really nuts. If you are listening to this, it won't be on sale by the time you listen to this unless it pops around for a flash sale. Buy that game. It's really kind of janky, like the interface. It's made by a really small team, but if you can get past just the user interface stuff and just kind of the weirdness of the game, it's super fun. It's essentially Modern Warfare or Battlefield, but with medieval weaponry. So it's all kind of like if you like the combat in Skyrim, it's like that, but it's zany, it's over the top. If you get decapitated, you'll actually see your head roll off and roll down a hill, and it's all in first person. It's really fun. There's a couple different game modes. They did a big update earlier this year where it changed a lot of things and drove a huge player base to it. So I bought the game when it first came out, and not only how people really knew about it. And you didn't have problems finding a match, but they wouldn't be the most populated servers. Now you will have 0 issues getting into a game immediately and having, hours or however long you want to play it fun, I
watched a couple of YouTubers play that for probably a good 6 hours. It's a really fun game. I'd love to play it.
It's tough because console controls on that, they would really have to rework some things on that. It's really a mouse and keyboard
How
game.
exactly does it play? Is it like a
It's a
open world
first-person-
RPG?
It's a first-person shooter deathmatch game.
So it's like an arena?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Skyrim.
There are objective-based modes, but it's essentially team deathmatch online shooter, but without guns.
That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool, actually. I might try it.
Everybody knows more about it than I do, apparently. I don't think it's even started downloading yet. Dragon Age Origins downloading still, so I know I bought that.
That's a big download.
12 gigs or 13 gigs or something?
For the first game?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
the whole thing?
With all the expansions.
Oh, so it's that and Awakenings and... Okay.
I have that too, yeah.
That's
I have that because I would eventually like to go back and play it. I played it on console, the first
Very
one, and
different game.
I really loved it, but I got stuck at a part, and I got stuck so bad I traded the game in. So I'll finish it eventually. It's a great game. I don't like fantasy, really. We've had this conversation plenty of times. I'm not into fantasy, but I can get into that. And I guess I get into fantasy when it's kind of medieval fantasy, but not high fantasy.
Well, it's high fantasy.
Well,
What are you, high fantasy?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. No. I guess you could probably say that Lord of the Rings and Dragon Age are the same kind of thing, but in my mind, I view them completely differently.
No, they're the same.
Yeah, but in my mind, they're different.
I really like Dragon Age. I think it would be better on PC. I played on console, and my biggest problem with that is it's a really cool game because it has 7 different hour-and-a-half-long intros, basically. And they're cool, but I just wanted to stop doing fetch quests and kill something at a point. That was my problem with that game.
Going back to the Steam summer sales, Steve brought it up to me earlier at work that Age of Empires is going on sale.
Yeah, Age of Empires 2 HD.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying that. I will buy a 4-pack if I can sucker you guys
Dude,
playing with me.
I'm jonesing for it. I love that game, and I've played it most of my childhood, and
Age of Empires?
Age of Empires 2.
I played it on the DS.
That's nothing like
off.
the other one.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Motherfucker.
You're out!
Get the fuck out of my house.
I'm the only person here, guys, who doesn't own a PC.
Yeah, because you drive the Flintstones car, and
I love my console. You know,
you can love your console all you want, man, but you are like afraid of technology.
It's okay. No, I'm not. PCs are dumb.
Chris's cell phone is the same one from Saved by the Bell that Zach carries around.
It's a knockoff BlackBerry, bitches.
Yes, it's not even a BlackBerry.
Oh wow, so it's horrible.
No, I like Chris, but you're not cheating on a console when you're playing on your PC.
I just don't own one.
Yeah, no.
He's in a committed, monogamous relationship with his Sony PlayStation.
You know, I grew up and everything was passed down to me. You know, my Nintendo was passed to me, and then I don't know how I got my top loader. It was a gift to somebody. I don't know if it was to me though. So
I just took it.
Yeah, exactly. It was like my brother's, and now it's mine. You know, I got that, and I have a Super Nintendo. I bought my Turbografx myself. I used to dig graves when I was 14 years old. You know,
this explains so much.
Oh, well, it's
so I fall into them.
Yeah. So there are 2 people here who work in the graveyard industry.
Well, I work
in the graveyard industry.
He digs them, I fall into them.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
And I bought that with my
I've been
money,
to a funeral, so I guess technically I.
You know, I mean, and I never had a lot of money, so you know, I convinced my girlfriend, who I bought an N64 for, to buy me a PlayStation when I went to college. So I got a PlayStation that way. I bought my PS2. You know, I never had the money to spend on a PC, and I don't like the money that you have to invest in one. That's my only problem. I'm okay with PC. I'm not one here to say, you know, ooh, PC's bad. PC is great if you want to pay for one. Steam sale, great, fine. Your $5 game's good. The $1,500 PC beforehand, not good. Don't shake your head and say not a $1,500 PC.
That's always your number.
I know that, yes, but if you want a PC that's going to last 10 years, no. That's my point.
Your console isn't going to last 10 years.
You want to bet? I bought my PlayStation 8 years ago. Well, what are you saying? I mean, really, you can't not say that I'm lying.
You know what the best
I bought
part
my
is?
PlayStation 3 years ago. It still plays, or 8 years ago. Whatever, how many years ago? It still plays the same games.
But okay, by that rule of thumb, though, my Game Boy plays the same games.
And that's
yes, but if you bought a PC 8 years ago, it's not going to play the games of today.
No, and neither is your PlayStation.
Yes, it does, because they make PlayStation 3 games. This is where the fight happens.
Yeah, this is where we get into a fist fight.
And that's my problem, is that people just don't really see that, who are really like, oh, I love PC. PC is great. If you don't play PC, you don't play nothing. You know, it's not that way. You know, I love my games because they work in my console and I put them in it. And granted, yeah, if I spent $1,500 on a PC, they're going to work for the next 5
No, mine turns off all the time.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
I mean, the $1,500 PC thing, I was going to disagree with you. I spent like roughly that on a PC, and I like switched that out about 7 years. I got an extra giant computer if you want.
Yeah, I have a spare gaming computer on my front porch.
No, really.
I really do.
I had to pay for it.
Yeah, it was like $100.
I know. It's just that's my thing with PC, and I like my consoles. I'm sorry, I just do. I pay my $50. I get my free PlayStation 3 games. And I get big games. That's the big thing, the big difference. Is like, you guys are all up in this PC sale thing, and you paid $6 for Don't Starve. Okay, I'll pay $10 for it when it comes out on PlayStation 4.
Now, to be perfectly fair, there's this thing that we shouldn't talk about called piracy.
Yeah.
And we talked about that last week, and it's wrong.
No, it's not.
No,
it is wrong.
No,
Don't
Pirated
do it.
Porn is wrong.
I downloaded 42 and I watched it. It's really good. It's about Jackie Robinson, though.
I did want to see that.
Yeah, it's good. I've been watching it in bits and pieces. It's alright. It's got Harrison Ford in it.
What?
Yeah, Harrison Ford's in it.
Does he go, I want my family back?
Christopher Maloney is in it.
No, Harrison Ford plays Jackie Robinson.
Yes. In blackface. It is the most racist movie I've ever seen in my life. There are actually not any. This is going down a really weird way. Never mind. Never mind. Pete, what else have you been playing?
I haven't even said what I've been playing yet. I just said what I bought.
Blackface! It's Ted Danson!
Blackface, I want my family back. Blackface.
Oh boy. Send all the complaints, just post them right on YouTube. We'll get to them, and we apologize.
Please comment.
I've been playing.
Like and subscribe. I hate that shit. Every YouTube video, like and subscribe. Fuck off.
Don't like or subscribe this video.
I
Fuck
don't
you.
give a shit.
I just broke a sweat laughing.
Dude, you were so out of shape.
Your eyes are sweating, man.
You're so out of shape.
Pete did this last week, but we don't have it on tape. Not fair.
Yeah, it's perfectly fair.
Fuck.
For stuff we've actually been playing, I picked up Surgery Sim. I don't know how I feel about it. It's like QOP with a chest cavity.
Wait, what? QOP?
Yeah, it's a game where your thighs and calves and feet are individually controlled by keys on a keyboard and you're trying to run a 100-meter dash.
Oh, it's rad.
Sure.
I played games like that.
Yeah, but the thing with Surgery Sim is it's fingers. You have individual control over each finger, and you have individual control of raising your arm and rotating your wrist. It is incredibly difficult to grip objects in that game.
And you have to do surgery on someone?
You're doing the first thing is a heart transplant.
So basically you take 10 shots and then try to do surgery on someone.
Basically, the best part is it's you rip out the ribs, you pull out the lungs, and you take out everything. And as long as you replace the heart, it doesn't
all
matter
you have to do is dump the heart into the open hole, and it's like you win.
Yeah. Do you have to pull out the old heart? I haven't figured this one out yet.
You have to use the bone saw to cut out the heart, and then you rip the heart out, and you can just throw it, and then you put the new heart in, and as long as it lands in there, it's pretty good.
I think I could do that.
Yeah, it's really tough. There's a brain transplant, I think, at some point in that game as well.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You know what would do this well? The Xbox One.
Yes, use the Kinect. It'd be great.
Feel my heartbeat.
It's a fun game though. It really is.
What's wrong with you?
It's the vitality sensor.
Yeah.
You hook the vitality sensor up to the Kinect?
Yeah. Everything explodes at that point. Your living room melts, and Don Mattrick is like, I got out while I got out when I was supposed to. Check out my suit. But Surgery Sim is really fun. It's really tough to say to buy it for anything more than a couple dollars because you will most likely get so frustrated that you can't go forward with it. I paid full price when it came out.
It's Dark Souls.
Yeah, it originally was like a browser game. Like you would just go to their website and it would boot up like a demo, and then they made a full-fledged game. I think it's like $10 full price. I think maybe because I bought it the day it came out, I got 10% off. Steam likes to give you 10% off on the day a game comes out, so I probably paid $9 for it. It's not worth it, I wouldn't say, but it's a fun game to have to screw around with. You'll play it for 20 minutes and be like, okay, I'm good. Then you'll go onto YouTube and watch like somebody like really funny playing, screwing around with it.
It's that game that I was telling you that I watched Jesse Cock playing with Mindflame.
Kerbal Space Program, yeah.
It's going to be on the sale soon. It's definitely going to be on it because they got.
Dude, that looks like something I just love to see. Just a.
Yeah, I watched like the Giant Bomb guys play it, and it was absolutely hilarious watching that. Yeah.
I've also picked up Any Chamber, and I don't know what's going on, but I'm enjoying it so far.
The game is so bizarre, so well made. That guy deserves so much money for making that game because it's absolutely unbelievable. It's a first-person shooter, but not in the way you think of it. It's a first-person shooter in the terms of Portal as a first-person shooter.
Oh, cool.
It's a puzzle game.
Oh, cool.
But the way it works is, let's say I walk into a room. If I go backwards in any other game, I go back where I came from. In this game, I'm in another room. Every time you turn a corner, you're in a different room. You have no idea of what's going on around you, and the way you look at things can completely manipulate the world. Like if I look at like a corner of an object and then turn slightly to the right, I could see another object inside of it, but if I look at it from any other angle, I don't see anything.
So
you've got to be on mushrooms to play this.
Yeah, this guy had to have been so high like, I can't. There's been people that have played it on LSD and like recorded them playing it, and
they're better at it.
No,
they're drooling.
They just realize it's Tron. Like they're just like, oh, it's all coming together now. No, but it's really interesting, and it's
cool.
I would never play it, but I would watch somebody else play it.
Are the rooms generated randomly, or
no? I don't think it's procedurally generated. It has there's a very distinct plan and path that you have to go on. It's just getting there is really weird.
Okay.
Because there's a map, and you'll be like, you'll walk into a room and it'll say you're here, and then you'll walk into the next room and you're on the opposite side of the map.
It's magic.
Yes.
Cool.
And the last game, Steve and I have been both playing this
fuck
one.
this game.
I'm not going to say it anymore. No.
Rogue Legacy, you motherfucker.
It's an awesome game.
It's unbelievably fun. It is absolutely amazing.
It's also brutal and punishing.
It is.
Punishingly brutal.
This is a game that if it was out on other stuff besides PC, it would be blowing up right now. I mean, it would be huge. It would be the game that everybody is talking about. This would make a perfect Vita game, just because of the way it looks. Like, it would look beautiful on that screen. The game is tons of fun. It is essentially a Castlevania-style game. It's procedurally generated, so the castle you're in is different every time. There are rooms that stay the same, but the order you see them will be different. Like, there's always the boss room, or this room that's really big, or this room that has a treasure chest in it, or whatever it may be.
What is that game again?
Rogue Legacy. You can get it on Steam.
He's buying it.
Yeah, buying it right now. I really enjoy the game. You go through, and there's persistent upgrades, which you use with your money you collect, but you don't get to keep the money by the next time you start.
Yep.
So there's incentive to, oh crap, if I don't die here, I get another 50 coins, I can buy the next upgrade, and I can be slightly better.
You'll do runs where your only goal is to get in as much money as possible so you can get a little bit farther next time. Because very quickly, things start to cost a lot. And there's not a lot of gold to be found.
Yeah, and they actually have special classes to differentiate. And they have one class that's a miner or a splunker, and you go through and you can you get a bonus to your money you pick up. But the downside of that is you have low attack, low defense, low health, and low magic. So it's a really fun game. And the interesting mechanic we haven't talked about yet is that they will they'll have traits. There's no perfect adventurer, so you might have somebody who's OCD who, by breaking things, will recover magic. You have somebody who has vertigo, and the entire game is flipped upside down.
Yeah. There's one called Dyslexia, where all the text in the game is backwards and out of order.
Great.
There's one that's called Nostalgic, where the game is played with a sepia tone. There's some really cool stuff. There's Gigantism, where you're really tall. You can't duck, so if you have Gigantism... Well, no, you can move, but if you have Gigantism, normal things that would fly over your head will now hit you. So while you do a little bit more damage, you lose the fact that you can't really avoid stuff anymore. It's interesting. The way it works is, when you die, that's it. You move on to another character. The plot of the game is it's a lineage, where it's like you play as the child of the character you just played as. It's a gimmick, though. It's not like their traits carry over to you. You always have 3 different characters to choose from, and you can pick and choose traits. Some traits are negative, like playing the game upside down. Some traits are positive, where breaking things replenishes stuff. And some traits are completely negligible, like the one where you just swear whenever you get hit. You swear. And then there's...
It has a downside. You don't see the damage you take, but it's silly because you have a giant health bar. But there's one where you have no health bar.
Yeah, the one where you don't have a health bar, you can't see how much health you have left, yeah.
But most of them have ups and downs.
They balance each other out in a really interesting way. Obviously, there are some that are designed just for giggles. You're never going to be able to play the game upside down. Yeah. But there are traits that kind of add to the fun of the game.
Is it like a gun game or a sword game?
It's Castlevania.
Okay. It's
you have a magic attack and you have a sword that you swipe.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, there's the trait like dwarfism, to use an example. You're small, but your sword is proportional.
Yes.
The opposite of gigantic guy canvas.
Gigantism, yeah.
Yes, that man said it right.
And there's other things like you'll have a trait where you're kind of like a tank, so when you get hit, you don't fall backwards or get knocked back. And then you can have one where you can knock enemies back, so you can kind of get people away, because you'll get swarmed really easily with a ton of enemies. And you don't have a lot of health. I mean, you can upgrade and get more, but you're always feeling like you're about to die at any given moment in that game, and you're just trying to get as far as possible.
One wrong step and it's all over.
Yeah, because you can unwillingly go into a next area of the game where the enemies are level 99 and you're level 10. And you'll get wiped out quick. It's very much like Terraria like that. Where if you dig deep enough in Terraria, all of a sudden you're like in hell, and it's a nightmare.
The demon worms come and kill you.
Exactly, yeah. It's one of those games where it's kind of like Civilization. Every time you finish a turn in Civilization, you're like, I'm going to do one more. With this game, you die, and it's like, give me one more. I need one more. Because Pete and I, we have jobs where we have to get up in the morning, and I can see that he's still online playing the game, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, I know we both have to get up the next day, but we're still playing.
Hey, I'm a very special man who... I can be up and still work good.
Nobody's got me licked on sleep. I get about 3 hours a night, and I've been doing that for 15 years. But it comes a point where you got to stop playing games in the middle of the night and kind of go to bed.
You're not my dad.
Yeah.
Friday night's usually a bitch for me right now.
Yeah. But it's a game that's really, really great. It's the perfect summer game. There's nothing else out right now that's that much fun for that little money, and it's given me a tremendous amount of value for my dollar. I think I paid full price. I might have gotten
15, was it?
I think I paid like $13.49, so it was probably like 10% off or something like that.
Yeah.
But because like I said earlier, Steam usually gives you 10% off whenever you buy a game within a week of it coming out. So that was I would probably pay $20 for this. It'd be a higher end Xbox Live or PSN game, definitely.
I mean, I've already put I think 20 hours into it at least, and that's kind of ridiculous if you think it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, you've been playing it a lot. Yeah,
20.
It's not bad.
If I end up getting it, I'm probably gonna.
Yeah, I'm at like 3.5. I'm at 3.5, but I mean, I do really like playing it. I play it in like bursts of like 30 minutes at a time. I'll play it like once a day for like 20, 30 minutes, maybe 15 here and there, But it's a great game to play. It's a great game to play on mute. It's not that the sound is bad. The music is. I don't really like the music all that much. But it's a great game to play, and then in your second monitor have Netflix running, or a podcast or whatever. So if you're playing Rogue Legacy, you can open up our podcast in the other window and listen to us ramble on about Rogue Legacy, and it's like we're in the room with you.
Or you can listen to something good like the music from Rogue Legacy.
I don't particularly care for the music in that game.
Well, it's better than our podcast.
Nothing's better than our podcast.
Yeah, this is the greatest
He's got
thing.
blackface Harrison Ford.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can like and subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah. Please favorite this.
Comment.
Yeah, favorite this. Comment.
Share. That's a thing that they do, right?
Share, post on Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah. Sharing
copy
things.
it, put it on Pornhub. The usuals.
Yeah. X videos, X hamster, Fap do, just all the porn
How do you know
sites.
all this?
Just running down the list. Just dudesondudesorg.biz/org.co.uk
.tv.
.xxx.
Yeah.
They tried that one for a while.
You see how that didn't work.
It didn't really catch on. I remember when the UFC was UFC.tv. And I was like, you're not even on TV. What else have you been playing, man?
I don't know. I just think I want to point out we should just change the name from Pixel FM to Tangent FM.
This is the best stuff, though. When we get into this.
Or it's the worst stuff. We don't know. It's only the four of us.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I've started the 3DS Project Cross Zone, or Project X Zone, as somebody said last week. 2 weeks ago. Yes. It's so far, I don't hate it. I've only played it for half an hour-ish. So, I mean, I really just picked it up. You play as characters from a few different companies. There was Ken and Ryu, and then a whole bunch of people I really should know, but I've never seen before in my life.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters. They're digging deep in that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of PS2 era RPG stuff, which I have zero familiarity with whatsoever, so I have no idea who half these people are, but...
I mean, I know the people from like Resident Evil and like.
I haven't got anywhere near there.
What's that one game? The
Mega Man?
Yeah, I know Mega Man. I know Mega Man.
There's like Tekken characters, Street Fighter
Tekken,
characters.
Street
There's a whole bunch of.
Fighter.
There's
So weird.
Yeah.
Such a weird thing, because usually when they make games like that, they're either like, you got your RPG guys, your fighting guys together. You don't throw like a fighting game guy in with an RPG guy.
No, you put them together.
They're
and it's
partners
all
from the
fighting
same
games.
game. You don't get to choose your team, so it's always Ken and Ryu.
Yeah.
It's not like Ken and somebody from some RPG.
Oh no, but it's usually fighting game guys with fighting game guys in a game.
Oh,
Usually
I get what you mean.
Guys
yeah.
from different types.
Like
of
like
genres.
SNK versus Capcom,
Yeah.
or like Marvel versus Capcom.
I mean, if you're mixing genres, usually it all ends up in a fighting game.
But this is a strategy.
This is like
right?
it's a strategy.
Yeah, it's
tactics.
tactical. Yeah.
It almost makes me want to play it. Just because
There's a demo in the eShop.
Right.
You can download it.
When it was coming out, didn't they basically just ask the producers who they wanted in? They didn't really give them, they really didn't tell them who
It's a lot of fan
they were
service.
supposed to put in.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
Capcom put it out, correct?
I think
I think the three of them.
Well, yeah, but I think technically it's a Capcom game.
Yeah.
It's like a Capcom
Yes,
published
Capcom.
game. I don't know who made it. I'm assuming Capcom probably developed it.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting game for sure.
And I don't know if you've been playing any more Animal Crossing as the mayor of San Luis.
Yeah, I have not. I have not been picking it up. I've got to the island and I left off at the island. I will probably play a little bit more of it, but I'm getting to the point where I'm probably just gonna call it a day on that game, just
Me and
because.
Russell have it.
I picked it up today.
Oh really?
I bought
Yeah,
it
maybe
today,
I'll play
yes.
it with you
But
guys.
see,
Then.
all I like to do is I go through twice a week, grab all the fruits and make some money and put it towards making my house slightly more paid off, so Nook isn't going to go after me.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yes.
I'm gonna be the mayor of Lumpy Town.
God.
I haven't figured out the name of my town, but it's going to be something offensive.
Yeah, of course. Blackface.
You guys said it, not me.
You're the one that ran with it, though.
Because it's fucking hilarious. Harrison Ford.
You're gonna watch that movie and be like, "Where's that part?"
The next time you watch Star Wars, just think of him in blackface the whole movie.
So we're no.
It's Darth Maul.
No, Darth Maul. Oh, you have to be a villain if you're black. What about Lando?
You have to have a purple lightsaber.
He is a villain.
He was just doing what's best for Cloud City and
Yeah.
its people.
Alright.
I don't mean it's black people. Cloud City people.
I think we should bring up the fact that the people that live around the street from me use an R2-D2 as a garbage can.
They're motherfuckers. That's the.
Speaking of Lando,
I
I was watching Happy Gilmore before I came here.
It's all in the hips.
That's exactly where I was at when I had to leave too.
There's a video on YouTube
Just a little tapping.
There's a video of YouTube of real golfers trying to hit the ball like Happy Gilmore.
You can actually hit it like that. In all actuality, it's not a bad technique because
No, it's a bad technique.
because if you break a golf swing down, when you finish following through on a golf swing, it's just like a baseball player planting his front foot. If you pay attention, it's just
Have you ever played golf?
yes.
Who pays
Yeah.
attention to golf?
I am the champion of putt-putt.
But because because you can control yourself when you have your feet planted, they don't move their feet.
Yeah.
But if you moved your foot and you actually have enough muscle control, you could actually hit the ball like that.
Or you could play like Albert Bell and take your right hand off the bat every time you threw it, every time you swung. The amount of power that guy got out of just swinging with his left arm, I couldn't believe it. And that's our sports section on this video game podcast.
Do we have weather and news coming up next?
Yes, we do.
And we're live on location.
Yeah.
In a basement.
I'm just gonna make helicopter noises in the background.
Whoosha, whoosha, whoosha.
Yeah.
That's not helicopter noises.
Drip, drip, drip.
Yeah.
It's raining.
I gotta get this back on track. Have you been playing anything else?
No.
This derailed
Why
fucking
do you
train
keep
we
asking me
have.
this question?
Alright. I'll go into what I've been playing. Aside from Rogue Legacy, I played Deadpool. I grew up a big fan of Deadpool in the comics. I was really hoping that this game would be, decent. I can get through bad games. I'm okay with that. I played my fair share of bad games. Deadpool, I'm done. I can't go any further. I'm about halfway through the game, which kind of sucks because I realize how far I am into it, that I'm really not that far away from the end. I really am kind of halfway through the game. I just can't take any more. The camera controls are absolutely horrible. I mean, just god-awful. They will clip through objects. You won't be able to see what enemies are coming towards
camera?
you. Yes. But in, the worst
It's
way
really
imaginable.
twitchy.
Yeah. It's... You can't see enemies. You can't see where you are sometimes. You'll get the camera, facing
The
you.
blood rain.
Sure.
Hey, man. That was an okay game.
Well, it's the same thing. A shitty game. bad camera. Or
It was a good game with bad camera.
Yeah,
Bad controls.
The camera will be facing your face, and all the enemies are in front of you. But that doesn't help you when you're just looking at your face and the wall behind you when there's 20 guys on the screen, because you get swarmed by quite a few enemies in this game. The combat system is just really lackluster. There's not that much to do. It's really easy to make it look flashy, but it's not tight. It's aping off of Sleeping Dogs and the Arkham games, but it's not anywhere near that level of quality. It's really poorly done, and it's a shame because this is made by a company that makes good games. They made the Transformers games, the good Transformer games. They made the Cybertron games, and apparently they're shut down now. They
closed them down like 6 months
They closed them down before Deadpool even came out. It was High Moon Studios.
So how was Nolan North in that game?
He's good. He's a really good Deadpool. He did it. He's done it for other games. And that's our obligatory Nolan North mention every episode.
It's gonna happen.
The game is super funny. It's really well written. It's written by a guy who handles Deadpool comics. His Deadpool is very off the wall and very zany. This game has a lot of sight gags where just like weird things will happen where you'll look at the character that's talking, and then it'll go back to Deadpool, and then when it goes back to the guy that he's talking to, something crazy will be happening, like Cable's head turns into a taco, or like Deadpool gets bored. He gets so bored he shoots himself in the head just to get out of the conversation.
Nice.
It's really funny. It's really well written, but that's not going to save it from being anything more than the mediocre game that it is.
Was the part where he dropped his banana and just looked at the ground in the game, or was that just part of the?
I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Because I died when I saw that in the trailer.
The trailer, the I Love DP girl, she's like early on in the game. So there's stuff from the trailer in the game, but I didn't see the banana thing.
Better or worse than Wolverine Origins?
I love Wolverine Origins.
I thought
Wolverine Origins was fucking awesome.
What the fuck is wrong with you
it
people?
was the first mature.
It was a mature, violent, well-paced game.
No, not the game. I'm talking about the movie with Deadpool.
What we're talking about?
Oh, Ryan Reynolds is a great Deadpool.
Good up until they change him into not.
Yeah, but
he was a fantastic Wade Wilson.
Yeah, no, he is a great Deadpool.
I
and
would pay to see Ryan.
Well, I think he's supposed to be doing a movie, isn't he?
He says they did an interview with him last week where he's like, it's on again and off again so much that I have to start taking other movies. He's already committed to Green Lantern, and
Green Lantern 2?
No, I mean, it's really tough to make a character two comic book characters. They did that with Captain America because he was
Torch.
He was the Human Torch. It works with him where those movies are so far apart that it probably could work because he would be the best Deadpool.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. He would be the best Deadpool. The problem is to do a proper Deadpool movie, it wouldn't work with the character they set up. Deadpool knows he's in a movie. He knows he's in a comic book. He knows he's in a video game.
He breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, he breaks the fourth wall. It's really funny in this game because he rewrites the script constantly, and he's like on the phone with like the manager of the game, like no. And he actually pulls out a script and like crosses things out all the time.
That's awesome.
It's actually pretty funny, but like I said, it doesn't save it from being a bad game. It really is a bad game, and that
should have come out much cheaper.
Yeah, I mean it's already a budget title as it is on PC. It's a $40 PC game. If it hits 20 or 10, get it.
Yeah.
But don't get it.
I'll pick it up for 20.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem telling that because you're not even supporting the developer at that point because the developer doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So just buy it as cheap.
Your money to Activision.
Buy it as cheap as possible. The only other thing I played, we talked about Rogue Legacy. I picked up for the very first time ever Shadow of the Colossus. And I pretty much skipped over PS2 when it was out. I found PC, and I was in a dark depression over the death of the Dreamcast. So I really pretty much skipped the PS2. Shadow of the Colossus I've played. I've done the first Colossus, and my stopping point was getting ready to go out to the second Colossus. It's a wonderful concept, really well-made game. I don't know if I'll play more of it. I don't know if I'll finish it. I cannot stand the look of that game. I don't like the look of bad 3D. I don't like the polygons where they're still trying to figure out how to do this stuff, and it's at the time it was breathtaking and it took you away, but you have to understand I'm not coming into this with the nostalgia that everybody else has. I'm coming into this fresh, and from what I've seen over the past 10 years, it doesn't compare, and I'm sorry to say that. Gameplay is great and graphics don't make the game, but it's really tough to get into a game where you hate what you're looking at. The architecture is amazing, the character design is amazing, the colossi look amazing, but it's just a coat of brown over really bad polygons, and it's really tough to look at it. And the HD, I'd probably rather play this without the HD, to be honest with you.
It looks about the same because it's such a late PS2 game that this actually had progressive scan in it.
Yeah.
So it looked nice on the PS2. That game's not really up-resed as much as Ico is in that collection. I know you only bought.
I only bought Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah.
You know, maybe you get Eco later or Ico, whichever one you want to say.
I played that. Yeah. I remember playing that a little bit. I never owned it, but Shadow of the Colossus is a really neat concept. But it's not hooking me in. It's really hard.
It is.
It is really hard. I didn't have a problem finding them, but just climbing up the Colossus, the controls aren't great in that game.
No.
There's really bad controls because you
can tweak them a lot.
You have that grip meter where if you run out of this meter, you'll fall. But you never get a chance to hang on because he constantly shakes you. And if you would just give me one chance to hang on with both hands so I can climb up a little bit, it's just you keep not getting knocked down.
You're going the wrong way.
And I get that's understandable, but it's not fun after a point, you know.
How many?
He only beat the first one.
Yeah,
so basically the first guy's a gimme.
Now, I mean, if you don't like the first guy, there's guys that fly that you have to stand up on your horse and jump off on.
Well, I know that like the next one is like a 4-legged Colossus. It said I'm playing this game with a walkthrough just because I want to play through it. Like I don't want to get stuck and frustrated, so I am playing with a walkthrough. You'll have to
when you get later because they really get into like the forest and the mountains, and you've got to find your way through. And
Now there's a bunch of secrets. Have you found any gold or shining lizards or like fruit?
Kill them
because that helps you.
It said I'm playing through the walkthrough, and he says he's going to show you where all that stuff is. So I don't think there's any yet.
But if you don't look for them, you don't find them.
Yeah,
they're not the main.
But he has it pretty much laid out where you need to go and do this now before you go and do this. Okay. So if I get to a point where I'm playing, I'll go after it. But it's all right. It's not great. It's not bad.
Shadow at the time was really a piece of art.
Yeah,
it was a piece
huge.
Of art. I mean, it's really literally you, your horse, and 16 giant monsters that you have to kill. That I don't know, kind of. I won't spoil it, but the ending is kind of weird.
Different.
Yeah.
It's a different game. That's why I picked it up. Just something different that you can actually play. It's not something you get nowadays.
Yeah, I need a little something different now.
The last guy is really hard. I'll warn you.
Yeah.
And that's something
I'll probably never get to it.
It's great.
That's the only thing that gave me an issue was the last guy.
The last guy, yeah. I know a buddy who got the last guy, and he's always wanted to beat it, and I was like, I'll tell you how to do it. And there's only one thing, because he's literally got one thing to do to kill the Colossus.
Yeah.
But he wants to beat it eventually, and I was like,
and it doesn't even move.
No. Yeah, he just stands
in one damn place.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for what we've been playing. We're going to come back, and we're going to dive into some Walking Dead talk. Stay tuned, guys. Alright guys, we're back and we're going to talk about The Walking Dead now. What's going to be interesting about this is that the majority of us played this game when it was new, when it was still relevant, and the reason we're talking about it is because they came out with a DLC to kind of bridge things between Season 1 and Season 2. Season 2 is coming out later this year. Now, I want to bring up the original game because Chris didn't finish it, and he finished it so we could talk about it tonight. So I'm going to get your thoughts on the game since you have played it more recently out of all of us.
I love the TV show. I watched the first season in literally a day, so 8 episodes in a day. It really hooked me in quick. I'm a big old Image fan, so it kind of tied back to Image the comic books. Robert Kirkland is a really good writer, or is he not the writer? I'm probably going to screw this up. He's probably the artist. Kirkman, sorry.
He does something with the book.
He's the big guy for Image now, and it was a great game, and I can't say it wasn't because it was really written well, but it was incredibly flawed in my mind, just because like there's a lot of things that break the realism, just the flow of the game. Like I took some notes for this just because I wanted to remember a few things. Episode 3, right towards the beginning of it, you're trying to rummage through this building and pick up as many things as you can, and I picked up 15 items to carry with me out of the pharmacy, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And I have no backpack on when I go to leave the building. Where are those 15 items? I got them shoved in my bum?
The way I will say this is because you didn't grow up playing adventure games, that's one of the things that you just accept with those games.
You pull it out of
It's
your back
fine,
pocket.
but why doesn't he have a backpack?
I get it, but it's just
like it's a survival situation.
It's an adventure game. It's a Telltale game. It's just like Sam and Max, Back to the Future.
And I
the
love
other
the
stuff
look
they
of the
made.
game.
Yeah.
This isn't this. I promise this is no knock on the game. For a $15 game, or well, I'm sorry, $25 game. It's a great looking game. It really is. I love the cell shading. But I really enjoyed the game. It is just like The Walking Dead. A lot of people die. A lot of people die in really fucked up ways. Like, I don't know if you guys, with Lily. Lily got to the really paranoia part and literally shoots, what's her name?
Carly.
Or
I had Doug.
Like,
so.
yeah, she's
Doug got what he deserved, but Carly shouldn't have been shot.
Carly's kind of innocent. She's the reporter who knows what you are and convinces everybody you to tell her if you want to tell them. These are all decisions, and that's crazy because we could have 4 different decisions in this room for what you decided to do, whether or not you wanted to tell people about your past, and then you can tell each different guy whether or not you want to tell them. So you can actually not do one of the people and just kind of not tell them, and they won't know.
I think you weren't able to tell everybody if you chose Doug as the guy to save. I don't know why you would, because
I just tried to stop.
Yeah, the girl was cool.
I just tried to
but
stop the situation. I
just
didn't even try to side with anyone.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like Carly was cool, and I was hoping to get somewhere with her in the game, and like just Lily just shoots her right in the face, just bang, and I'm just jaw just hits the floor, and wow, like gone. She's just gone in the game. And it's like fuck, she was a cool character.
And then you're stuck with Ben.
You're stuck with that.
You're like, oh my god, Ben's gonna redeem himself this episode. I know it. I know. Okay, no. Okay, next episode.
Were you kind of nice to Ben, or
I was always pretty nice to Ben. I don't know why. I didn't want to be mean to him. I didn't leave him when you had the chance to leave him at one point. I kept.
He stuck with me until the tower.
Until he falls off.
Yeah,
that was kind of sad.
He was with me until then.
You let him fall in the tower too?
Yeah, he fell.
I thought I grabbed him out. I thought I pulled him out.
He falls and he gets a grate basically at the bottom of the grate. The grate falls and he falls onto it.
You're talking about that one.
Yeah.
No, but there's climbing up the bell tower is what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking
too. You
too.
can let him fall there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's 2 different scenarios.
Oh.
I got to the very end. We probably got rid of him at the same point.
I kind of felt Ben was kind of a bad character because he let the smugglers or the bandits.
He was weak.
He was given the bandits, but he was trying to also protect the group at the time. So it's tough because he's
it's
like
misguided.
He's a 15-year-old
good intentions.
kid.
Yeah, it's misguided good intentions.
It wasn't his fault that all that happened, but he's a kid, and that's what happens when you're a kid. Just bumbling mistakes.
It's an interesting character to write because most people in video games don't make mistakes.
Yeah,
and you can tell
he's
this is a
incredibly
kid.
Flawed.
Yeah, he's trying to figure things out as he goes along.
Yeah, on the other side of the coin is if you got somebody who's fucking up all the time. You expect them; they're going to save the day. They're going to be the best. At the last second, you're gonna shoot that walker, and you'll be able to get out. Nope, not Ben. Ben is if you're playing this game, and I don't know why you listen to us spoil it first. Just let Ben die at the earliest chance you can.
He's perfect zombie food. He gives you a chance to run.
Mm-hmm.
I have an interesting take on it because I actually played this a year ago. I played the first 2 levels the first 2 episodes when they come out, and I lost my save for the game because my PlayStation died. And I actually had to start on episode 3 because I really didn't want to play through the first 2. And I'm going to go back and play them, but they give you automatic choices in the game. It's not random. It's always the same. I did it like 4 times hoping to get something different because you kind of screw Kenny twice, which I helped Kenny twice, and you also what was the other one I mentioned?
The only thing you talked to me about was Kenny.
Yeah, I screwed up the 2 Kenny things, and there was something else, and they were both wrong. Oh, I actually killed Lily's father.
Oh,
okay. I helped Kenny.
Yeah, I helped Kenny kill him. Yeah.
I
was a racist.
I gave him CPR.
Yeah, he was. Well, he was just mean, anyways.
Yeah,
Does he ever live past there? Because did you guys get?
No, he dies.
He dies in the freezer one way or the other.
No, you give him CPR, and Kenny will still.
And he brashes. Yeah, he hits him in the face with a
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kenny kills him in my game, and you're like, what the fuck, Kenny? So that's what I ended up with my game, and I was hoping to get at least Kenny on my side because Kenny leaves me with the boat.
Yeah.
And they beat up Kenny at the end, but that probably happens one way or the other.
Kenny was my guy throughout the game. Like, we were best buds. He died for me when he went down to pull the girl out in the bell tower, and he went down to the room by himself. He got her out and then sacrificed himself to distract everybody.
Ben must have died before.
Yes, this was after Ben died.
Yeah, it's funny because Kenny helps. I'm with Pete on this one because Kenny tries to help Ben, but dies, but really just sacrifices himself.
Ben Ben's big thing is he doesn't want to be eaten alive by zombies.
I
That's his biggest
I
fear.
think Kenny can die a lot of different ways, but I think he always ends up sacrificing himself. You know.
Well,
in my game, I thought it was stupid though,
Well,
and this is one of those things that like Kenny just makes a stupid choice. Like, why not just shoot Ben because Ben's stuck on the thing? Shoot Ben and then go with Lee. Dumb. I mean, they just
Kenny
kinda,
wants to die.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he lost
He lost his wife and his kid, but it just doesn't flow right to me. There was a couple points in the game where it just doesn't work. Another one of my big things I wrote down is there's a point where the boy Duck is dying.
Yeah.
Because he gets bit, and I was like, I freaked out because I have a little boy, and it would be horrifying. But you know, in the movies, they usually let them, or not the movies, I'm sorry, the show, they let them die, but before they turn, they either shoot him or cut their head off. You can't let Duck die. He's alive when you shoot him, or Kenny shoots him, or someone else shoots him. And it's like, why not just let him die, breathe his last breath, and then either put a bullet in his head or chop his head off or do what you want.
I'm pretty sure you wouldn't feel yourself being shot in the head by the time the bullet pierces the spot that makes you dead.
I know, but it's just one of those things that...
I've been shot in the head before.
As an expert.
and it's not that bad.
Yeah, because it just kind of keeps repeating.
Just
Duck will
respawn.
just keep breathing. He just... And then it repeats.
But overall, you enjoyed
Oh, I
it.
love the game. It just has little things.
Overall, you enjoyed shooting a child in the head.
No, I did. And then there's the
I
little
enjoyed
kid also...
stepping out.
I wanted to shoot that fucking kid in Mass Effect 3 so bad
The
by
little-
the end of that game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When you go into the attic in episode 4, I think it is, or episode 5,
I think it's 5.
when Kenny's just Kenny's not making any noise, and he goes up in the attic and there's a little boy there.
Yep.
And Kenny's looking at his son, basically, and his son is dying in front of him, and he doesn't know what to do about it. And then I ended up killing the little boy, and I think, Russell, how'd you kill him? How'd you kill the little boy?
I stepped on his head.
How'd you kill the little boy?
I honestly don't remember. I played
how you
this
did it.
game, right when
Could I
it came
shoot him?
out.
You could shoot him.
I probably shot him.
You could shoot him, step on him, or hit him with whatever you had in your
Well,
inventory.
I
Somebody hit him.
think I hit him with.
'Cause I'm
I think I had a
Steve.
crowbar.
Yep.
I think.
I didn't
yeah.
even know that. I
Because
just
my
wanted him to be
preservation
silent.
was always to try to be quiet.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And you hit him in the face with basically a C wrench they had
Yeah, I must
from
have one. I
the
think it's
train.
right there.
He's like, pank. And it's just like,
there was
oh.
when you step on him, there's like no effort because he's like all just
Yeah,
skin
he's
and
just,
bones.
yeah,
It's
just kind of
just
step on it.
it just
Did he
yeah.
starve to death up there or something?
Yeah, he starved.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
starves to death. Yeah.
Now this was for the most part the game that was voted unanimously the game of the year from last year. You think it's up there?
I really like the
Story-wise.
storyline. Yeah, the storyline was great.
I have a big issue with the controls on it, and we played it on a couple different platforms. Me and Russell played it on the PS3, I believe, and I think you guys both played it on PC.
Yep.
PC, this is a game where I wish I owned a PC because I was a nightmare with my controller.
I played it with a controller on PC.
I fucking hate you for that because it just drove me insane. Like the cursor sometimes, because they have a cursor in the middle and you can move around, but sometimes as you move around, the cursor will slide to the side of the screen and then you've got to move it back to the center and it'll slide to the side of the screen and I just want it to stay there. And you couldn't invert the controls and you couldn't make them faster or slower and there was parts where you're like, oh my god, I'm in such a big hurry. Why am I walking?
No one inverts the controls.
Yeah, but why? There's just certain things about this game that are really, and I know
Hold
it's
the
not
controller
that style
upside
of
down.
game.
That's it.
The only thing I didn't like is when you're looking in a different direction, the cursor still points away from you.
Mhm.
Like the screen doesn't turn with you. Other than that, I really didn't have many issues other than trying to shoot.
It's a
the-
It's
very-
just the style of the game, though.
It's
I
a
mean,
very
it's
different
a-
game for them to make. They're used to the traditional adventure games, and this is very much kind of like an evolution of adventure, where there is much more control over where you're walking and what you're interacting with. Because Sam and Max, it's point and click. Back to the Future was point and click. I didn't play the Jurassic Park game that they made, but I assume, from what I hear, that was much more action oriented and very
Point-click
poorly-
dinosaur.
Yeah, it was really poorly received though, so I've never gone and actually played it. Going back, I understand why this was pretty much everybody's game of the year last year. It was the best story.
There wasn't much in last year. So.
I mean, for me, my personal favorite game from last year is Sleeping Dogs. I love Sleeping Dogs. Binary Domain, I think, came out last year, but I didn't play it until this year, so I won't really count it. But Walking Dead, is actually amazing. I loved it, and I'm really glad they're going forward with more of it.
I definitely look forward to season 2.
Yeah.
It has its issues, but the game was really fun. And I wish I would have played it all the time, a long time ago, so Steve could have talked to me about it. But luckily, he was a good guy and he didn't ruin it for me. But there was a couple other things in the game that were really fun. Episode 1 and 2 were really powerful, and it's a strong game, and it's a good thing to get from these.
Did you want to talk about anything more from the main game before we go on to 400 Days?
There's a couple of things. I have a couple of lines written down. In episode, I believe it's 5, where Lee is getting ready to die, and Lee is explaining what's going to happen to him, and Clem says, and this is just a line from the game, and I don't really remember the context, but Clem says, "We are the cookies." And it was a really strong line, but, obviously it's a game that was written, and it's not something an 8-year-old girl, I think, would think of, but it was a really good line, and I just thought it was funny, and I wrote it down on the back of one of my kids' sticker packages.
Because we're professionals.
And my other note is on a Reese's insert. And
is that why Steve's breathing heavily?
Yeah.
He hasn't touched it or lifted it.
That just makes me sound like I'm a really fat guy that wants to eat candy. I'm deathly allergic to peanuts.
Yes. And he wants to eat candy.
In episode, I think this was the end of episode 4. I kept the weapons for something, and I was only 40%. But I killed the stranger. This is from episode 5. I kept the weapons from the stranger. No, episode 5. I kept the weapons from the stranger, and I have a question about the stranger from you guys, too. But I kept the weapons, and that was only 40% of the people, so either they were afraid to lie or they just gave up their weapons to the dude with the gun in their face. And I also killed the stranger, quite horribly, in front of Clem. And what did you guys do there, if you remember?
I'm pretty sure I killed him, but I can't remember. I hate to have to keep going back to this, but I played this game when it was brand new, so I haven't played it in a while. I mean, the last episode was November or even earlier than that.
Yeah.
So it's been at least 8 months since I touched the game.
I definitely kept the weapon. I don't remember what the weapon was, but I know I kept it.
I had a cleaver.
Yeah, I lied
somewhere.
to him.
I had a cleaver in my pants.
And I didn't. Oh boy, I didn't.
I had a meat cleaver.
I had a Pringles can in my pants.
Just penises.
Sausage.
That's all I have.
Did you kill the stranger?
Thank you for listening to Penis FM.
I thought it was Pickle FM.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. I want to say I did because I didn't take crap from people in that game, but I kind of stood my ground.
I basically protected Clem. That was my thing. And I killed the stranger. You choked the shit out of this guy.
Is he he wasn't the guy with the banjo, right? Or the
No,
guitar?
He's the guy with the
that's the hobo.
Yeah, that's the hobo, yes.
Yeah, the hobo on the train.
Oh, yeah.
He's the
Chuck.
one that tells you to take care
I
of
was
Chuck.
pissed when you find Chuck dead, man. Chuck was cool as shit, man.
Yeah.
He teaches you. He's like, hey, you got to teach that girl what to do. Cut
I
her
was
hair.
a total assoll to that guy.
He was cool after the first time. Cause I
Are you going to touch
I
my
ended up failing
girl?
something, and yeah, it was. I like Chuck, and then he's just sitting there, and they're eating his guts in the base in the. That wasn't making me
Yeah, you can
happy.
sneak around him
I liked
a little
him.
bit longer.
I did.
Yeah,
and then
that's
I went
what I
back
did.
to him, and then I went back to Chuck, and I was like, poor Chuck, he deserved better. He did.
Yoink! Thank you for the gun.
You want to move on to 400 Days?
Yeah, let's go to...
Yeah.
All right, so
400.
for those of you listening, out of your convenience, since this is something that is fairly recent, we are going to go full spoilers. So if you would not like to be spoiled, you can stop here. And in the description of this video will be a timestamp, so you can jump ahead until after we're done talking. But for those of you who want to stick around and listen to us talk spoilers about 400 Days, we're going to go ahead and do that. So for those that don't, this is your last chance. And here we go. So I thought this was a really interesting concept to do this, to kind of, essentially, I'm assuming this is introducing the cast of Season 2, though I'm not quite sold. And something I brought up to Russell yesterday, I would think this would be very fascinating to have every character from 500 Days get killed off within the first 20 minutes of Season 2.
Days.
Sure. By the time Season 2 comes out, it'll be 500.
Yeah.
I think it would be really interesting for them to be completely killed off 20 minutes in, because it's something that they would do.
It's kind of interesting. When I played it, I only ended up with 3 people coming with me to the thing.
I have copious notes here. I have I think you always end up with
3 and 2.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what I
pretty sure
got.
that's the way it always ends up. I had Bonnie, Vince, and Wyatt come with me.
That's who I am.
I had Bonnie, Wyatt, and not Russell or...
Shell.
I have Shell. That's
Shell,
it, yeah.
okay.
I
No,
have
Russell.
Shell.
Actually, no. Russell came with me. I convinced him.
Yeah.
him to go.
There's you have to say something very specific to him to get him to come with you.
Yeah.
I just said nothing bad was gonna happen. He was like, "Oh, okay."
I'm pretty sure I got Russell. Well, I know I got Russell. I Wyatt and Bonnie were on there too. I don't. I think Shell stayed, and who was the other one?
Vince.
Vince stayed.
Vince was the prisoner
criminal.
on the bus in the first episode.
That asshole.
He looks awesome.
I loved him. I loved Vince. Why would you do this to me, Vince?
Whose leg did you shoot off?
The guy
The
sitting behind
jackass
him.
behind you.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah, I killed the rich guy.
Well,
Yeah,
thought the guy
I left with Justin, who had all the money, and then
Oh.
I left with him. And then what'd you do with the gun?
I threw it in
I threw it on the
garbage
roof.
I threw it in the garbage can.
I
Yeah.
threw it on the roof.
I thought
threw
there
it
were
on the
zombies
roof
when I
and it
needed to
pans
get
up.
out.
The
to the
line,
jail.
it's really funny because if you throw it into the garbage can, they're like, so how did you get caught? And he's like, I was a fucking idiot and threw it into a garbage can, and some kid found it like the next day.
The
roof.
maintenance guy finds it.
Yeah.
And, if you throw it on the roof.
It was a good throw.
So nobody
It
knows
was
what
good. That's what he
happens
says.
if
He
you
says it
throw.
was a good throw.
Nobody knows what happens if you throw in the gutter.
And I didn't even know you could throw it in the
I mean, you'll still get caught. You know, it's
a
just
sewer maintenance guy.
yeah, sewer maintenance
Some
guys.
hobo living down the
Chud
sewers.
Chud finds it.
Yeah. Ghoulies.
Yeah.
Critters.
He's a good character. For me, with the guy with the money, he has this line at the end of the episode where he's like, "Yeah, that dude like ditched me like 10 minutes after we got off that bus."
Nice.
So
Yeah. Oh, the other one, I don't remember the guy's name. I'm awful with names. The other guy ditched you. It didn't say like after 10 minutes. It seemed like he was with you for quite some time, but then ditched.
yeah, he's an interesting character. He seems like he could be the lead kind of guy, although he's not my favorite character by any stretch of the imagination. I loved Bonnie and the guy that she was with, and I am so pissed that he is not with her towards the end of that. I understand that she killed his wife by accident,
That was brutal.
When
Yeah.
you were talking to
That
her and
was
she's
brutal.
like rambling
Oh my god,
on about
her
riding
one eye is actually
Yeah.
moving and the other one's just kind of like punched in and you can see her brain.
Their dialogue, I really wish I could remember. Does anybody remember what his name is? The guy that's with Bonnie.
Oh, I
It's-
just played it. I literally just played it.
I can't.
She's D.
Yeah, everybody remembers Dee and Bonnie.
Yeah, but anyways, their dialogue was so natural, so well written, and I know Gary Whitta is involved in Walking Dead game, and I'm curious if he's the guy that's doing this because he's always been kind of pretty good with dialogue. But Vince, you know, the interesting thing is we can't spend too much time dwelling on this stuff because these are very short.
Yeah.
All of these are like 20 minutes long, if that.
If that.
Yeah, so after Vince, Wyatt is what I went on to next.
I enjoyed Wyatt a lot.
He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
You know.
And it was funny because me and Russell got totally different things.
Yeah.
And we were trying to have this conversation earlier, and Steve's like, wait till the podcast,
My favorite line is, I will punch your eyes.
Yep.
Yeah, I will punch your eyes is a great line.
Okay, so what did you do with him?
I left Eddie in the woods.
So
and-
he got out of the car on you.
Yeah,
you won rock, paper,
But
scissors.
that was the whole thing, was Wyatt was like, I'm going to go out. So I figured if he won, that means he was going out. But he...
You get to stay if you win.
Yeah, he got to stay if he wins, which seems really weird.
No, because you're safe if you win.
Yeah, I just... He was like, no, I'm going to go do it. I figured at the last second, he was like, no, stay in the car, I'm going to go do it.
So you let him get out of the car, and basically he threw the keys and then the light, and then you drove away.
Yeah, I drove away, yeah.
I drove away. That one was literally like, you get out, he gets out of the car, it's like over.
Yeah. I think
That was the shortest one. But in my opinion, I really like that
The
one
funniest
most.
part is you shoot out a headlight on that car, and it's like in a fucking ditch. Like, I'm like what? Like, do you understand how cars work? Because
So wait, you both stayed in the car?
Yeah,
I was
went
in the
out
car,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went out and I
Yeah.
tried to save the zombie.
Oh, really?
I tried to save him, dude. I didn't play the other part.
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't
tell him.
realize
Tell
who
him
it was.
the zombie was.
Oh, hey, my notes came in handy. His name is Leland.
Yeah, I just
My notes have come in handy. Yeah.
Yeah, the zombie is someone that they have chained up in one of the other episodes. They have him tied to like a post or something.
Yes,
He's in Bonnie's. Or not
That's
Bonnie's,
the
I'm
same
sorry, Shell's.
zombie?
Yeah, he's
He's
the
in
he's the
Shell.
police officer.
Oh, Jesus, that ties it all together.
And I was like, oh, I just hit this guy. I kind of want to bring him back to the car
Oh,
and
that's
save
cool.
him.
Yeah.
The guy who Russell gets in the truck with, he's driving that truck.
Yeah, he's driving the truck
Oh,
with the
that's
lights on.
cool.
Yeah, everything's
Oh,
tied
that's
together
neat.
in the
Because
story.
they're all tied into that.
So
that
you
gas
missed
station.
all of this.
Yeah,
if you
just leave. Because like me and you, like I was saying, that's the shortest one. If you just leave.
Yeah.
Because literally, he throws the
But
cars in, turns the lights on,
that
turns the
whole
lights
time-
off, drives away.
Yeah, I mean, if you go outside, if you
Because you
choose,
said you shot people.
yeah, if you choose
Yeah.
to drag the zombie, there's like I want to say like 10, maybe 12 zombies that actually come out and they try to get you. You have to shoot them.
That's crazy because that's more zombies than the rest of the.
Yeah. Oh no, there's a lot of shooting in Wilds. Yeah. There's a lot of shooting.
See, I want to play that one again.
Yeah. No, I kind of want to go back and check that out. Yeah.
They're interesting because they're so quick hitting and you can get so many different responses.
I didn't choose to go out. I suck at rock paper scissors, so I lost every single.
Funny thing
time.
is if you win at rock paper scissors, just you know how to win the next hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to do rock paper scissors lizard Spock, but it just that's what I was really hoping for.
If you can do the whole thing, I'll give you $5.
Yeah. Anything else about Wyatt?
I love
Battle
hippies.
Clam.
Battle Clam. Yeah, Battle
I
Clam.
noticed that. I did. I went.
It was
and
the best thing ever.
It was
great.
great. Sure. Because you get to see him in the
holding an
prologue.
AK.
He told me about it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to see it because I'm not going to play it again."
Yeah.
And then you get the black girls who's actually pulling the pins off,
Oh, that's cool.
and
Yeah.
she's collecting them, and then you see his shirt again, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Ah, it says Battle Clam." He's got guns. He's
Yeah, it's one's like a knife and one's like an AK.
Shell is up next. I thought hers was interesting. I think it's funny because you just said it all ties in. The watchdog walkers that are tied up outside as like a defense system. Like that's kind of like a neat concept.
Yeah,
But
they're
they-
war dogs.
Yeah.
They never showed how he got away. They never showed how that one.
Well,
car
okay,
actually
yeah.
made it
You gotta
out.
remember, there are also Nate and Russell show up there, and then there are old people there too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because that's the same gas station.
Yeah, it's on the same
old
gas
girl,
station.
the old lady that was shot when you got there, she's the one eating the puppy in the corner.
Oh, so they come along and take the. Oh,
walk.
that's interesting.
Now I thought it was interesting that the group that she's with is the same group that Vernon was with in the main
Yeah.
game. Yeah, so you kind of hear about what happened with Vernon and the rest of them because they were the cancer survivors group or whatever.
They
it
didn't
was.
want to
Yeah.
beat up. They didn't want to beat up Kenny.
Yeah.
Take the boat. They felt bad about it, or he did.
Yeah. Where the hell did that puppy come from, anyway?
I don't know. You just
Yeah,
walk out and she's eating it. I thought it was a teddy bear. I was like, that looks like a teddy bear.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, it wasn't not. It's like somebody half-assed a puppy corpse. I mean, really, if you're gonna go puppy corpse, you go all out. Little puppy entrails, little floppy, half-eaten ears.
Make it look sad.
Now, did you guys kill the intruder?
The intruder.
The guy that they
I
had
killed
tied
the-
up?
Yeah, I killed the intruder.
Yeah, so did I.
I let him
really
go.
want to.
I killed him.
I let
Oh,
him go.
really?
I let him go, and apparently someone dies in the group because you let him go. They don't explain
Oh,
how he
that's
dies. They
interesting.
just
Yeah.
say he passed away
Okay.
because you let him go.
Yep, same thing.
The parallel between the place in episode 4 and 5, Crawford, because they're trying to make those same decisions.
Yeah.
Like, we got to kill this guy because of that, and they're making the same decisions, and that's why the half the group from Vernon.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I
wanna-
wanted to bring up Crawford. I was a little disappointed because this story is taking place during the same time. It would have been kind of neat to play as somebody in Crawford.
Yeah.
I think that's something they could have done, and I think they sort of dropped the ball on that. That would have been really neat to have seen that.
Pretty cool that the quarantine was all zombies, though.
Yeah.
It was funny how it ended up happening, though. I want to go back to that one because the sister stabs the doctor, and the doctor dies, and then that's how Crawford gets cleaned out. You actually figure that out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, watch those
Yeah.
tapes.
Yeah.
That was an interesting video.
So yours, I know ours ended. We either had to kill one of the survivors in the group.
For me, it was you
Shell.
to kill Stephanie. She was stealing.
It was Stephanie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So you still a killer?
Did you kill
I
Stephanie?
killed her, yeah.
What happens after you kill her?
It goes black.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't even
nothing.
kill her.
You know
Oh,
what?
okay.
Yeah. He comes to the door. It's time. Next.
Because I
chapter.
chose to take the keys and drive away.
Yeah, what was?
I really wanted to do that to see what would happen after that.
You literally take the keys and drive off, and it ends.
Okay, so it's the same
Yeah.
thing. It's just a sudden end. Yeah.
What was the reasoning for you have to kill her or you're kicked out of the group?
She was stealing.
No. I mean, I know why we had to do it because we decided we were the deciding vote and let the guy live.
Oh, why you actually had to
yeah.
do it yourself?
Well, I mean, you let the guy die. Why do you?
The reason why I had to kill her is because I was the only person that agreed to kill him with the guy that did it.
Yeah.
So since he killed the first guy, it was my turn to kill the second guy. And I told
what
my
woman
sister
says.
to do it. The sister wanted
Nice.
to do it.
Yeah, you
little
can.
one.
She wanted to do it, and I was like, go ahead. If
Yeah.
you want to do it, go ahead, because I really don't want to
She's
do
actually
it.
more angry than you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
That was interesting because she really goes along with like the Crawford idea.
Yeah.
Like, the sister
If you
does.
don't kill the guy that you captured, he makes you kill the girl because you didn't kill that guy.
Yeah.
He blames the older guy. Whoever dies in the group, I can't remember his name, but he blames that death on you, and he's like, you need to kill her.
So I know you're still with the group.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want to move on to Bonnie?
Yeah.
All right. I know what side your bread is buttered on. The best line out of that one, by far. I think I like that more than I will punch your eyes. Yeah, I know what side your bread is buttered on.
That was a good...
She was my favorite character. She was absolutely my favorite character.
That was a tough one to play, I thought.
She reminds me...
Probably my least favorite.
She kind of reminds me of, like, in Breaking Bad when Badger starts going to rehab, and he's, like, this, like, former addict that, like, really wants to do good, and he just keeps talking about the 12 steps and all that stuff. So it kind of reminded me of that as I'm watching Breaking Bad right now. But she was my favorite character by far. I am absolutely furious that Leland is not with her at the end, because those two together, they could be the lead for season 2, and I would be totally fine with that.
But if she didn't beat her husband's face or the wife's face,
but they would have brought together such a great relationship, because then you could have played around the fact, does he really trust her?
The first time I played, I tried to actually let the person with the flashlight go around me.
She just panks you in the face.
And you get hit with the flashlight, so you have to hit
that was see, that's another thing in this game, and even in the regular game, that you don't have a choice. Like, it's a game based off choices, but there's certain parts in this game where you just don't have a choice.
Hey, I like it better than Mass Effect, where you have choices. Hey, look, at the end, your choices don't matter.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I could go off for like 9 hours about Mass Effect 3, but...
Yeah, but then... I just
make a little kid do it.
There's certain things about that game where, you know, if it's really Bonnie, why would Bonnie kill you?
Bonnie does not like you very much.
I get that, but why would Bonnie kill you from hitting you in the head with a flashlight?
Maybe you have an undiagnosed aneurysm in your brain and it bursts when she hits you.
No, you have.
No.
You have people. You have people chasing you. Maybe she just knocks you out and they just finish you off.
It's just one of those things with this game where there's definitely parts where you don't have a choice.
Did you lie to Leland about killing his wife?
Yes.
No.
I did.
Nope, I told her the truth. I'm pretty, in all honesty, most of the things I'm pretty honest about, because I think the honesty factor will get you farther in the game.
I'm a habitual liar in real life, so I just figured that I would continue that over in games.
Good idea telling your boss.
You are not my boss.
I'm your boss.
Ipso facto,
and he's my boss.
Ipso facto, rearrange Joe. I'm your boss now. If you're my boss, then I'm Russell's boss. I'm Pete's boss, and he doesn't even work with us.
Actually, a couple days ago, Chris told me to do something, and I was like, "You're not the boss of me, Steve is."
Exactly. Workplace politics.
That's right.
Did you fall off the cliff?
Oh yeah, when you were running from the people.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody did that. All right. Is it her that gets stabbed with the rebar through the side?
Yes.
What is it with
she gets shot in the arm.
Somebody gets stabbed through with rebar. Somebody in this episode, because I have a note that says, "What is it with all this fucking rebar?"
No, you hit Bonnie in the face with rebar.
Yeah, you pull it out of the ground and you shake it. And
every game now has a rebar thing. Last of Us has rebar. Tomb Raider has rebar. Whoever's making rebar needs to get some product placement in this thing.
I don't because. Is any of the product placement good? Rebar. Really great for impaling people
it's just
and
like
bashing heads in.
Zombie Killer 101.
The Canadian Parliament.
Yes, yeah. Somebody watched a bridge collapse and saw the rebar, like, I bet pokey things would go through people real well. We're gonna put it in our game.
It's better than a cricket paddle, let me tell you that.
Oh, you go fuck yourself.
Dude, okay.
Cricket paddles are
what the fuck are we talking about?
Zombie U?
Oh, fuck, fucking Wii U fanatics. These Wii U fanboys I gotta deal with. I can't stand
From Shaun of the Dead, cricket paddles are right.
We're the three idiots who bought one, and Steve has $350 in his pocket still.
No, I don't. I've spent out too much stupid shit since then. It's...
All right.
The New York State Lottery has my $350.
Yeah, and the bar.
The bar has my $350.
My Wii U at the moment currently keeps the dust off that spot on my desk.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a good...
I have booted up my Wii U about once a month to download the 30-cent game.
What's up now?
Nothing.
I might have missed it.
It is over with Yoshi. With Yoshi.
Oh, I didn't get Yoshi?
Yes.
Damn it.
Well, for the sake of time, let's move on to Russell. Everybody I've ever met named Russell's a fucking dick.
Oh! This funny thing is, it's irony. It's a black graduate Russell.
Yeah, which is different than the short, white high school dropout Russell that we have.
No, he's not. No, he's not a high school dropout.
Junior high dropout.
Yeah, they told me I couldn't go anymore, and then they bought my seat in the GED class.
Oh my god.
Is this actually true?
That's very true.
See, I really liked Russell, and I got pissed at the end of the game when he's not coming with me.
Did you refuse the ride?
No.
I stood tall like a man and refused that ride.
I refused it like twice, and then I got in with him because I'm like,
I would have loved.
I just got right
I
in.
think it would have been awesome if
If
it ended right there and he dies and then he's just not with you. That would have been.
Did you
awesome.
guys hide? Any of you hide?
Yeah, next to the dead
Hey,
body.
you there with your girlfriend?
Yeah. Do you know who
no.
that was? From Matt's or oh my God.
No.
It was Carly.
Was it really?
Yes.
Oh really?
From what?
Shot her right in the face.
Yeah.
From
if
the
you
actual.
had Doug or
Oh,
Carly,
cool.
you'd be laying down.
Oh, that's
next
pretty
to.
neat. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, did you drink the liquor?
No.
Nope, neither did
No.
Okay, this is horrible because I
I'm
wrote.
underage.
This is my notes. I drink the liquor because we're all drunks. And then I'm the worst of us all apparently because I'm the only one that did.
I didn't refuse it. I wasn't like, no. I was just like, no, I'm good.
Nate was
I'm
a great
straight.
character. Nate was so fucked up. He was a great character.
He was really good.
He had those crazy googly
I
eyes.
wasn't going to go with him. No way.
Oh, he was
At
awesome.
some point,
Give
I
him
was
that.
like, I'm leaving this fucking crazy
Go
bastard.
run, I'll cover you.
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
When he rolled down that window, though, and the zombie's like right there, and he's like, I'll get him.
Yeah.
Click, click, click. I was like, oh,
I'm like,
nice.
oh, shit.
He was a really cool character. I liked him. He reminds me a lot of the weird people you see in season 1, like the Cannibal Family and all that. He just kind of just reminds me of that kind of offbeat stuff that they did, and I really liked
He
him.
ends up being okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to be in a group with him.
I would love to have him in the group, just like, being the dude that just like fuck shit up left and right.
He's the Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, but he's going to get you killed. And you know that.
The Steve Buscemi.
You remember he was in Armageddon. He was in space.
I never saw Armageddon. I have taste.
Well, when you had
Oh.
when the old man, oh, that was me.
But I had.
If you want to use Steve Buscemi as a reference, you could talk about Michael Madsen's character in Reservoir Dogs and just fucks everything up.
Ghost World.
By the way, the guy he cut
Not
the
Ghost
ear
World.
off of,
Sorry, wrong.
the guy that he cut the ear off of,
He isn't Ghost World.
that's Chris Jericho's acting teacher.
Steve Buscemi?
No, the cop that gets his ear cut off in Reservoir Dogs.
Oh.
Okay.
Just an interesting tidbit.
Did you watch that movie?
So anyway,
Reservoir Dogs?
They made me watch that in school.
I love Reservoir Dogs. We can talk about Tarantino all night long if you want.
No, we're good.
Yeah, no, we're good.
It's a different time.
Yeah. Different time and place.
yeah, it's a
Or
completely different podcast that we do, where we only talk about movies and not about games.
But I liked Russell a lot.
Yeah, he was a good character. He's not coming with me, so fuck him. I don't care. He's not coming with me.
Steve, I'd always go with you.
It's going to be interesting because are they going to start the game off with the 3 people that you have?
Yeah,
Or is it going to be a different beginning?
Well, if it's different for everyone, I don't
It's not confirmed that this is the cast of season 2. This is kind of the thing you take
like
from it.
a placeholder.
God, I hope
Yeah,
so.
this
I'd be
is.
pissed if I just spent $5 for a 15-minute story.
I think they'll pop.
pretty
They'll
average.
pop up. You know,
It was
they'll
5
pop
15-minute
up.
stories.
It was okay. I thought. Here's my opinion on the price. It's too much. It should have been if I got the season pass, I should have got it for $250.
No, it's perfect price. There's too much DLC that's worth way more. It costs
It's at
way
least
much
quality.
more. Yeah,
It is quality. I'm not saying it's not
$15 for an hour download.
Yeah, there's
for an hour
Yeah,
game.
that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
no, my internet's bad. It probably downloaded as long as I played it.
No, I mean, if we're talking about
No.
internet problems, it takes Chris like 4 hours to download a game.
We
that's
have the
2
same
megabytes.
Hey, at least I downloaded the right.
We have
one.
the same.
I
internet.
downloaded the right one too. It gave me 2 different ones. Shut up.
We totally have the same internet.
Yeah.
Dial
Both
up.
have DSL.
DSL,
You know, I don't
3
understand
megabytes.
because you need a certain internet. You can't use dial-up on PlayStation.
not
That's what you guys
dial-up.
have.
Dick.
I had dial-up. I have a rotary phone that my PS3 plugs into.
Chris has to. If
That's
anyone,
why it
if
takes so long to
anyone calls
upgrade.
Chris, it just drops his
There's
internet.
a Morse code.
It's why this isn't actually posted until Wednesdays usually, because he finishes it right after we finish talking, and then it's the upload process.
Yeah. Oh, I have learned YouTube's uploading process very well after doing this. This is fun stuff. But if anybody else has any thoughts on 400 Days before we move on?
The black lady should have been Chi Chi Pounder.
When,
CC
I really
Pound, CCH Pound,
See, the
whatever her
reason
name is.
I want to play these guys as the next one is her. When you finish the 5 and it kind of pans back and she's got them in her hand, I was like,
That surprised me.
That was really cool. They're like, it's a map to where they're hiding out. That makes me really think that this is going to be. You might be her,
Yeah,
You might be
you
her.
could. Yeah.
and I really like that.
when you were playing as Russell, did anyone, when he says run from car to car, I'll cover you when the old man's shooting at you with a rifle, does he not shoot the first time for
No.
all of you?
No, he
Yeah,
doesn't.
he doesn't shoot now.
Okay, because
Total
I was like,
asshole.
you said you were going to cover me, and he was like, what?
I made him go first.
Yeah.
I made Nate
So
go
did I.
first. Yeah. And then you threw him the gun.
No, I think I went first. It was awesome.
No, I wasn't going first after that. I was like, he's just gonna let me die.
After the zombie in the window? No way. There's no way.
Yeah, he's something.
I want to go back to the actual game. I want to talk about the ending. What happens to Clem? What do you guys think happens?
I can't believe Chris cut the damn arm off.
She,
Oh yeah.
Clem is going to be at that refugee camp that you get to in season 2.
Well, yeah, because
awesome.
2 people are walking up.
Yeah,
there.
they're gonna pick
think
her up
that's
and take.
Omid and-
Yeah, they're gonna. No, I don't think it's Omid, but
You know, one of the character models is
because Omid's dead. So
What do you mean
Omid
Omid's dead?
lives.
does he?
Yeah, the couple at the end. Yeah, they both live.
No, one of the character
It's
models...
been a long time since I played that game.
One of the character models, the silhouette, is Doug, apparently. I'm reading.
Doug.
Somebody figured out that's the outline for Doug, so it's just random
Doug's
random
dead.
placeholders.
He died many episodes
Nobody
ago.
likes Doug.
I took Doug.
What the hell's wrong
I
with
picked
you?
Doug.
You know, there's Facebook groups and
He had a
shit. Doug
sweet
was-
security system set up at that hotel.
Doug was modeled after one of the workers on the game,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's whole groups dedicated to saving Doug.
It's interesting because I have different friends who played the different games, played it differently. Like I played this literally for my friends once, the first episode, and I saved Duck on the tractor, and they're like, Duck, tractor, and he's on the tractor, and my friends are like, and I go to save, and they're at the save choice, and you go left or right, and I save the boy, and all my friends just go, oh, and I was like, but it's a little boy, and they're like, but you saved the man, you gotta have the man, and I was like, but it's a little boy.
I tried to do both. I reset it and saw that because I saved the little boy first, and the old man came out and yelled at me and told me I was a piece of shit for saving the young kid.
You leave
for
because
his
of
son.
Herschel.
Yeah. And then I restarted it and I was like, well, let's see what happens, and you save the little boy anyway.
Yeah.
So
Because
either
Kenny
way,
ends up saving him.
yeah. And then Kenny calls you an asshole for not helping.
Yeah. It's one of the points where I get screwed on by not having him.
I saved the boy because what the fuck are you thinking? Oh, having a little kid dick around when you're doing fucking farm work or whatever the hell he was doing at the working on the fences. You tell a little boy, get the fuck over there, away from the things. They're going to try to eat you alive.
When Duck plays like private investigator at one point,
That was good.
Yeah.
That was great.
And Duck thinks you are awesome.
Yeah.
And when that pops up on the
Did you
screen,
high five him?
yeah.
I high fived him. I was like, yep.
Oh, man.
Anything else anybody wants to bring up?
Chris cut his arm off at the end of the game.
It was the right choice.
And then he tried to climb the ladder.
I was a man and kept it.
I cut my arm
cut
off.
mine.
Oh yeah, that's right. We got to talk about the cutting arm off. So me and Pete on one side here cut our arms off, which was the best scene in the friggin' game.
How did you climb that ladder?
Oh,
It
he
was
just like
really awesome.
he takes like one big step over two and then jumps up, pushes up as far as he can. But it's so funny when they cut the arm off because you wake up out of like a stupor and you're just listening to these guys have a conversation about whether or not to cut your arm off because they've got the thing in their hand and they're ready to cut your arm off. And I just say, let's do it. And they're like, look over and they're like, okay. and Lee puts his arm down literally like on a table and says, go ahead. Doesn't have like, take a sip of alcohol or put something in his mouth and she just puts the hacksaw on his arm and and Lee says, don't cut too high, and she just goes to town and I just it wasn't funny because there's just blood coming out and you actually see it going in
It's
his
just
arm.
the way it was actually set up.
It's just go ahead, cut it off.
I mean, what I learned in Walking Dead is
Don't lay down now.
Any way you die in that game, you still turn into a zombie. I mean, in The Walking Dead, any way you die, you turn into a zombie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, after that bit, I was like, there's no point in hurting my character if he's going to die and turn into a zombie either way.
I figured you live. I was hoping to live.
Yeah, you're always going to turn into a zombie if you could stop the infection.
That's the thing, though, is I thought you would live too, but then it came back to if you die.
Well, have you watched the TV show?
Yeah,
yeah,
season 3.
I'm only up to season 2.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, we're not gonna spoil the TV show
can't
because I'm not.
spoil the TV show
Yeah,
because-
I'm not caught up either.
Yeah, we can only spoil video games. You die in all of them.
Yeah.
Something happens in the TV show, by the way, that would take precedence in this.
A minor character has a minor scuffle, and minor things happen. Or maybe I'm lying.
Maybe
You'll never know.
That was
All
so
I know-
Carl dies!
Carl died.
All I know is that my favorite character from the TV show dies, and now I just don't ever want to go back and.
I know everybody hates her, right? Except for you.
Who?
You're like the only person who likes her.
Well,
Everybody
her-
else
Her,
are like,
her is
talking
the
about?
actor or is the character?
the character.
Oh,
Everybody hates her.
I think she's great in everything she does. Sarah Wayne Callies, who plays Rick's wife.
Everybody hates her. They were like rejoicing when they killed her in the
Yeah.
game. Most of the online stuff.
Yeah, I don't really care what the internet
Well,
thinks.
Steve knows this because I told him, and this is the reason he won't watch season 3. So I can ruin whatever I want for him.
Because she
She dies during pregnancy.
Yeah, but maybe our listeners haven't watched.
Well, hey, you got these little timestamps. Just slap them down there. They'll be looking down there anyway.
We ruined season 3 at.
So if we're running the.
Well, I really don't mean to cut this off. Yeah, I don't want to get into TV talk. We're already pressed for time as it is. Is there any last thoughts on 400 Days before we move on?
Well, just like
when
the
is
TV
season 2
show
coming out?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Later this year. It's winter this year.
We'll go over this one episode by episode.
Yeah, that would be something I would like to do. So that's going to wrap it up for our 400 Days and Walking Dead talk. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with news. All right, guys, we're back, and we're going to start going into news. It really sucks to have to do this. We're going to start off on a very somber note. One of the most important members of the video game press passed away this past week. Ryan Davis from GiantBomb.com passed away at the age of 34 on July 3rd. This is crippling to a website like that. They will recover. They will move on. But he was such an integral part of that company, of that product. He's an amazing guy. He was funny as hell. You know, he hosted the Bombcast, which is the best video game podcast there is, without a doubt. The personality those guys have is unbelievable, and not having them there anymore is going to be really, really sad. And what makes this even tougher to hear is, you know, he was just very recently married. He was married, I think, just a week before this happened. So this was either during his honeymoon or right afterwards. And it's really sad to hear that. When I first saw it on Twitter. I think the tweet said Giant Bomb has lost a member or something like that. And at first I thought it was just a joke about him being married. You know, like he was just gonna be around that much because, you know, just to dig at his wife or something like that. And then to find out it was actually because he died. That was just you know, it was a shitty way to find out about it. You know, through Twitter. I wish I would have just saw the article that they wrote on the website instead. I mean, the link on Twitter sent you right to it, but it was just a bad way to find out. You know, I'm a big Giant Bomb fan. I have been for a long time. And, you know, you hear this guy every week on this podcast, and you kind of get to know a little bit about this guy, and you hear some funny stories, and he was always entertaining, and you could tell you loved what he did. And it's, you know, it's just sad to hear. You know, it's not fun, and, you know, I hope all those guys are doing well, and, you know, especially Jeff Gerstmann, who, you know, they were pretty much inseparable, I think, so
and you
hopefully he's
told me
doing
they
all right.
didn't even live anywhere near where Giant
Yeah,
Bomb
they
was.
live in Giant Bomb's in San Francisco. Those guys live a little ways away, so I'm pretty sure they would carpool together every day. So they obviously hit a bond. They did a special edition of the Giant Bombcast where they shared stories about Ryan, and Jeff revealed that he met them right after high school. And they've known each other probably around 20 years, you know, something like that. I know Ryan was 34, Jeff is a little bit older than he is. So they definitely, you know, friends, and, you know, it was tough to hear those guys talk about it, but they shared some really funny stories. So if you haven't listened to it, go and listen to it. You get to kind of hear what kind of guy he was.
I'm probably going to go back and listen to him, but I've never really heard him before. So, you know, it touches at me because I'm actually 35. I'm the oldest guy here by a ways. And, you know, it makes me think because he was a big dude. I've seen some pictures. I went and watched a little bit on him. Didn't really listen to much, but just saw pictures and just tried to get a kind of a feel of him because I listen to a lot of guys on YouTube, and they're all big fans of this guy. And Total Biscuit took a day to make a video just to talk a little bit about it. It took him a long time to put his thoughts together. And I don't even think ever met him.
Yeah, he said he had never met him.
You know,
yeah.
he was just a man who, you know, he was just a dude who's, you know, a part of a big community. You know, video games are all kind of linked together, and, you know, even though, you know, we're just 4 dudes sitting in Steve's basement, we like to think that, you know, maybe you guys are listening, and hopefully someday someone else will listen to us from you and pass that on, and that's how this all starts, and that's how Steve heard about him probably because Steve probably listened to Gerstmann, and when Gerstmann created Giant Bomb, you know, he just found Ryan Davis then. You know, that's
they
how
were
this
together at
stuff goes.
GameSpot and moved over together after Gerstmann was let go by GameSpot. And yeah, it's really weird because, you know, you listen to this podcast every Tuesday, and not to mention the videos in between. You know, they put out so much video content that, you know, he becomes a part of your life. These people become a part of your life. It's not like actors that are in movies. You know, these people are putting out daily content, and it's them. They're not portraying a gimmick. They're not portraying a character, you know.
Yeah.
So it is a little weird, you know, to all of a sudden not have this thing that entertained you for so long is just gone all of a sudden. And it's not like a show being canceled. You know, it's a person, you know, missing, you know, and it really does suck. And, you know, like I said, I hope everybody over there is doing well.
Death is tough for different people. People take it different ways. I like to celebrate life as much as possible.
I would listen to that podcast. They really tell some great stories about his life. They do not dwell on any negative aspects.
That's really what you got to do when someone passes. Miss them, mourn them, but remember the good things. Glance over the bad if it was something bad.
Yeah, it was really kind of disgusting. The day that they announced he died on Reddit, there was 2 of the top stories on Reddit were threads about his passing. And instead of people sharing their favorite moments, which is what they were doing on the Giant Bomb message board, they were just trying to pick apart how he died, why he died, what led to this. And it's wild rumors and speculation. There is no official cause of death, and we're not going to speculate. I just thought it was kind of disgusting. Instead of saying nice things about this guy, you just want to pick apart and be like, this is why he died, and it's just...
Yeah, especially because his wife's probably going to see it.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's actively responding to people on Twitter that send messages. I saw some photos today that there are video game developers around the world sending flowers and just little cards and things like that. So,
she deserves it.
Yeah.
Any piece she can get.
Yep. But we're gonna get away from the sad stuff and move on to something a little bit more lighthearted. Our favorite executive, Don Mattrick, has left Xbox and Microsoft for Zynga. So you are leaving a company that is a billion-dollar company at the forefront of technology in this world, despite the fact that the Xbox One is not anywhere near what they're doing with other forms of Microsoft. It is just a video game system, but you're leaving a company that has a real grip on the future of how we interact with devices for a failing mobile and social game developer.
Yep.
I understand why he did this, because I have the stats. He did this for the fucking fat sack of cash he got. I'm going to run down this list. He gets a $5 million signing bonus, a $1 million annual salary, a $2 million cash bonus, $1.3 million in Zynga stock, a $5 million inducement grant of stock units, a $10 million option to purchase an additional $7 million of shares, and a 200 to 400% yearly cash bonus valued at $2 to $4 million over base salary starting in 2014. You will also be eligible for additional performance-based inducement grants similar to those paid by to other Zynga executives valued at $7 million. He'll receive a $60,000 payment for legal fee costs, a severance package worth $2 million plus twice his target bonus, further bonuses for accelerating vesting in all of his grants. This is going to be one of the most lucrative deals that he could ever be a part of.
Here's the problem with American society. Everything you just said. What does he get all this money for? What does this jackass do?
Yeah, he's not developing games.
Yeah, what does he do? Zynga is a failing company because they can't move forward.
Yeah, they rip off other ideas.
Yeah, they're stuck on Facebook games. They can't come up with their own goddamn ideas, and they get sued over it. So is this what the $60,000 payment for legal fee cost is?
Oh, of course.
Is that for the hookers?
Yep. Just like
Jackass.
Just like any hospital that has a doctor, they're gonna pay for their malpractice. So if you fuck up, there's a safety net. Just like this. This guy's getting.
Doctors are a little different. That's a tough one.
Mattrick is saving lives.
He's saving shit. He's just gonna cost more money. Why not invest half this goddamn money into a real company? And buy
it gives them if they're really trying to pull things together, it gives them a face.
Nobody likes Don Mattrick. He's a fucking douche.
Well, do you think they're trying to maybe
they probably gave him a gold suit?
Like live off him and build off him?
Yeah, they're going to use his face.
They want to use the fact that, hey, we have Microsoft's guy now. Yeah. He made the Xbox 360 the number one platform for last generation. He's going to make Zynga the number one developer of the next generation.
But the funny thing is the last thing he said about Microsoft is a failing concept.
Yeah.
He announced the Xbox, boo. Then he came out on E3, and they got booed again, basically. It's just about the money. It's stupid.
I like this. I think this is great, because I don't give a shit about Zynga. And I'd be happy when it gets snuffed out and there's room for real developers to spring up and take up all those little hunks of market. And I hope this speeds that up. And I don't give a shit about Don Mattrick either, but it sounds like nothing bad's going to happen to him, because his house could be made of money right now. Literally walls and foundations and floors and little money butlers doing his money laundry. It's just money coming out of his fucking ass. And I'm only a little jealous.
I poop money and wipe with money.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Chris is exactly right. Like, what does this guy actually do? I'm sure he does something of value to something.
He's the face.
But yeah, I mean, being a face, hire
the face of Zynga.
Yeah, like hire a spokesperson then.
Yeah.
Don't hire this guy. You're already in the hole so much with money. Why are you giving more? I mean, this company's probably gonna be out of business within a few years, and then he'll move on to something else. Yeah. And I understand why he went. Aside from the cash, he has buddies that are on the board of executives there, but it just seems really weird. If you're trying to right the ship, you don't do something that just creates even more ill will among people. You know, if you really want to make your company something special, you got to advance your product, and this doesn't advance your product. This money could have been spent in research and development. And it's not going to say Zynga is ever going to become...
They're never going to go...
They're never going to be Naughty Dog or BioWare. They're going to always make casual games. But at least you could do something creative and something unique. Because if they did spend that money into that research, even a simple game, if it hooks enough, then, man, that's so much money for you, you know?
Make a better SimCity clone.
I mean, the time I worked at GameStop, we would have people come in weekly and buy not 1, 2, or even 5. They would buy our whole rack of Zynga cards.
Yep, I remember that.
And it was insane.
When Mafia Wars was
Mafia
at its
Wars.
peak, I'd sell 6 cards to one person. She would buy $60 of Zynga money, Facebook money, to play in a game that has no end. I just don't understand, like, casual games all the time. I get casual games in the sense of, you know, we buy casual games like The Walking Dead is a casual game to me.
I don't like money-based games.
You have hardcore casual users. It's mind-boggling.
But you're never going to get anywhere in your stupid game. It's not even a game. I played Mafia Wars for about a month, and I figured it out. I was like, where am I going?
I've never played a Zynga product at all. I don't play Facebook games.
They're incredibly addicting for a short amount of time to certain people.
I've never gotten into that.
You know,
stuff.
like Kelly. Kelly plays Farmville. She's really into it, and it's just.
And they have no idea who that is.
Well, I'm sorry. A woman we work with, and you know, she plays Farmville, but she doesn't put money into it. Thank God, because then it's just a waste.
Oh my God, my strawberries! I'll be right back.
Yeah. Tend my farm.
Yeah, it's Animal Crossing.
You know what these assholes should do? Go plant strawberries at home.
Yeah.
They die.
Oh, okay, it's cold here, but just go plant shit.
No, you can't water them with a mouse.
You can't. Yeah, I was going along with the
Yeah.
People with technology can't do stuff in the real world.
I don't know. It can't be any harder or more monotonous to do that shit. You don't have to harvest shit every day. You water it, you pull it out, and then at the end of the day, you can fucking eat it or sell it for Zynga cards.
Here's the point. Zynga sucks. Mattrick sucks.
It's a sucky suck made in suck.
Well, we can't finish with the topic yet, because now who takes over at Microsoft for him?
Actually, Julie Larson Green takes over.
There you go.
Thursday.
I was going to go with Bob
Case
Dole.
closed.
I nominate Bob Dole.
Bob Dole.
Bob Dole should be the spokesperson for Zynga. I'm Bob Dole, and this is Zynga.
These are references from 15 years ago.
The best part is, like what Chris was doing with the convulsions earlier, you can't see me. So the little fist I do for Bob Dole, you can't see
you don't have
Just
a pen,
imagine.
Though. You need a pen, dude.
One of the interesting things, though, is the big
people don't shake his hand.
The big rumor with Mattrick leaving.
Yeah, his hand's dead.
A lot of people thought that he was going to go to EA. EA currently has a vacancy at CEO. Riccatello left. Thank God. And now he doesn't go there. Now EA is still without a CEO. There's a lot of different choices that they can slot into this thing. It doesn't really matter. EA is a money machine. It just keeps turning, and it just keeps churning out new product. It doesn't matter who's in charge, because nothing is going to change, because they're in a routine.
They're just figurehead positions.
Yeah, it really is.
They're just a shitload of money to be nobody.
It's the Emperor of Japan. It's the Queen of England. It's a figurehead. They don't actually have.
Let's the Queen of England. She doesn't even need a driver's license to drive, because she signs them all the driver's license. Did you know that?
She's like 109. She shouldn't be driving.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself. God save the Queen.
Yeah. But it's just a long line of stuff where it's just, who really cares? You know, this doesn't affect developers really. You know, EA getting a CEO affects them as a publishing house. It doesn't affect actual gameplay creation, so it doesn't really matter.
No.
It's just a
Figureheads don't mean anything.
This is the weird, bizarro equivalent of like celebrity drama for the video game industry. Because people get really wrapped up in who's running things where. It doesn't matter. Who really cares about that? These are the people that come out on stage at E3 that nobody knows who they are. You know
who Peter Moore is.
Yeah, I mean, there are people you end up knowing. You know who Peter Moore is. You know who Mark Cerny is. You know who Andrew House is. Because you see them every year. You know who Reggie from Nintendo is.
Reggie.
But it's just these... They're people that make decisions that they probably have no qualifications to make these decisions.
Weird thing, I actually missed Reggie at E3.
Yeah.
Reggie was he was an entertaining guy.
Yeah, Nintendo not being at E3 was, it is different, I don't think it really affected them negatively or positively, but...
No, because the Nintendo people will go find what they wanted to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they'll actually find, like, a marketing for the goddamn system.
Well, speaking of systems, the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are pretty much sold out right now. There's a couple places you can still get them. You can still get them through... Best Buy. You can still get Xbox Ones through GameStop as of this recording, but you were probably...
Best Buy's doing pre-orders?
Yes, Best Buy is still doing pre-orders.
They're doing pre-orders this time, because they usually don't do pre-orders.
Yeah, they have it on their website. Yep.
Oh, okay.
They have not designated whether or not these are systems that you will get at launch. Because Amazon had two sets. They had a launch day system, you were guaranteed to get it on launch, and then they had one that you will get it within a week to 2 weeks after it comes out.
Or it says launch bundle.
Yeah, or the launch bundle, which you got at launch too, which is what you got.
Yeah.
So, obviously these things are selling. A lot of people were worried, are they going to sell or are they not going to sell? Or are people going to hold off after the Wii U? Maybe some people are just be like, I'll take a couple months, see how things shake out in the holiday season, and I'll pick one up in the spring, pick one up in the summer, whatever I'm going to do. But they're obviously selling. They're moving units. Now, this is going to go into how hard is it going to be to get one of these things when they come out if you don't have it pre-ordered. Now, they've given you pretty ample time to pre-order. You're probably, if you're going to get one, you've made up your mind already whether or not you're going to get one. I made up my mind I'm not going to get one. So I'm not worried about this. I'll get mine next year if I even do that.
I think Microsoft's going to be tight just because I don't think they're going to be able to produce enough units. I think Sony will put every unit they can possibly make on the market instantly. I don't think they're going to hold back anything. If they can put 5 million out by Christmas, they'll put 5 million out by Christmas. I'd love to see, because I think this is going to be a real console war, kind of. Because the last one really wasn't in this country. Microsoft got out to that huge head start. In this country, the war was over when it started. This
isn't going to be a software war with games because so much is multi-platform. This is going to be a black and red on a bar graph somewhere. Of units moved. Units shipped, units sold. That's what it's going to come down to. It's going to be charts and graphs, and it's all going to be about who can get the most hardware out there.
It's really going to be a fight for who's the lead platform.
Yeah.
I think. And it doesn't really matter because they're mostly the same console now.
Because now, enough games are in development for both systems that everybody's all right. But in 16 months, if one has a decided advantage, all the studios that are then going to be making games that come out in 3 years from now, they'll have their decision made. I'm going with Sony or I'm going with Microsoft. Right. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. I'm going to be watching from a distance because I'm not buying one. So it's going to be kind of neat to see how everybody else reacts. I'm not going to be in that bubble where I have my new toy and I get to play with it, and that's the only thing I'm worried about.
I want to see the Christmas marketing.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Is PlayStation going to... Because they kind of punched back at E3 with the how to share a game thing.
Yeah.
Are they going to be Sega? Are they going to be Sega in the 90s?
Yeah, Sega does what Nintendo...
try to take jabs at Microsoft about things?
The problem with that is then you start to come off petty.
No, I know.
Yeah,
and that's the question. I just want to see which way they're going to go. Is Sony going to kind of take little stabs here and there?
Because it used to be, it was the print that you saw all this stuff. EGM, Nintendo Power, or wherever.
Crash standing outside of Nintendo.
Yeah, you would see all this stuff, and you don't have that anymore. So it's going to be, every YouTube video you watch is going to have an ad for one of these systems on the front of it. It's going to be...
You're going to have Titanfall shoved up every orifice
of your body. It's going to be, come October, World Series. During the World Series, you're going to have an ad left and right for these things. And moving into, the holiday season, when all the TV shows start up again, for all the sitcoms and all that stuff, you're going to see advertising throughout.
Oh, my God. Big Bang Theory, they're going to have an Xbox One right front and center.
Yeah, they'll buy some product placement in that.
They'll have the Xbox One episode.
Yep.
My God, look at this Xbox One.
I
gotta
using
connect.
I guarantee probably episode 2.
Yeah.
It's going to be that leopard striped one, the white one that you saw in that ad a little while ago. That they.
I never saw that.
You never saw that? They actually had one in a picture a while ago of an Xbox One that was like white and tiger striped.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Next on our list, something that's kind of nice is your PlayStation 4 digital library. You can play that thing wherever you want. You don't have to be at home. I can go to a friend's house and play my games. And the nice thing is that you're going to be able to play once you start downloading. So you don't have to wait for it to finish downloading and installing. You can just play as you go along.
I'm sure with like me and Pete, this is going to depend on your internet speed.
It's going to be great. Wow, we're playing the first... Oh, wait, hang on. We got to wait.
10%.
We got to wait for the objective to load.
Yeah. Which is cool. I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm okay with having bad internet. I live
Man, I can't wait till I have enemies.
You're going to make it to that clear part of the map where you just fall through the world.
Yeah.
It's a nice feature to have.
It is.
You know, it's very cool. I don't think it's a selling point, but it's something nice to have if you have this system. If you buy a lot of digital games, which more and more people are going to be doing.
It's sad is I actually like the digital games. You know, I'm one for saying that I like to have a disc in my hand and stuff. But like we got Battlefield 3, and I'm going to trade my Battlefield disc copy so I can get a little money for it. And it's nice to be able to sit on my couch, and this is the lazy part, is you don't have to get up to change your game. You don't have to get up to change your game. And
stop being lazy.
Man, I wish a console would have announced that they were doing that.
And then walk back on it.
I want to bring back like the 12-disc CD changers and just have that. I want this system to be like the size of a fucking washing machine, and it just looks like a disc resurfacer, and it just feeds discs into it constantly. You load it up with like 100 discs.
Real quick, did you guys know about the petition?
For
that
what?
Someone's signing.
Yeah,
they're trying to get signatures to bring back the original idea of the Xbox.
With the DR. I don't get it.
Someone created this petition,
really?
And guess who's signing it?
Who?
PlayStation 4 fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of dickish. You know,
they wanted to get like 15,000 signatures, and they're at like 20.
They never
like
do anything.
No, they're not going to do anything. But it's just funny that like half of the people who are signing this are PlayStation 4 fans, saying bring back the original Xbox One.
You know, if nobody's going to buy it,
we want DRM.
If nobody's going to buy it, it's really petty for the PlayStation fans to sign up for that.
It's just funny.
Competition. Without competition, you know, you're going to get shittier and shittier and shittier.
Without competition, you got Sega.
Yeah. Which does what Nintendo don't. Blast processing.
You do need to have competition. You really do need to have competition.
Yeah.
The sad thing is the consoles are so similar. So similar this time.
Yeah. Yeah, more so than ever, definitely. There's not one that really has a decided advantage over the other now that Xbox has reversed all their policies.
Because at this point in the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, I mean, if you wanted to make a game and make it top-notch, you're going to make it for the PlayStation. Because they've really hit, you know, the core and figured out everything about this thing finally. And Microsoft's best-looking game really came out probably 2 years ago with Gears of War 3. Because you don't really get
which I thought didn't look that great. It was dated by then. It looked really
Browns.
Yeah, I mean, it was just really grasping at straws for that they use, you know,
to push it as far as they could.
Yeah.
You know?
But next is not really news, but just something kind of interesting I came across. This is a little bit older, and I don't know how I came across this again, because I remember when this report came out originally. This is a little while ago. The average for people that play video games, only 20% of people that buy a game will actually finish it. Whereas with Heavy Rain, which is a PlayStation 3 exclusive, 72% of the people that bought that game finished it.
Well, it's amazing.
Which is, you know, it's more than triple the average. It's really kind of interesting to see what was it about that game that people wanted to see through to the end. Now, I have to imagine that Walking Dead it's got to be really high on the list.
Well, that would be an interesting one because you got to have people who played it all.
Yep.
Or because obviously if you buy one episode, you're going to finish the one episode. But how many people who bought the first episode bought the whole thing and then actually finished the whole thing would be more interesting.
Yeah.
Heavy Rain is a beautiful game. You can play it with your girlfriend. She can play it as well. It's not a difficult thing, and I'm not saying girls can't play games.
Yes, you just did.
Yeah, actually.
You just did.
But if you have a girlfriend who doesn't play games, she'll watch you play this. You'll beat it in 2 sittings.
What if you have a boyfriend that doesn't play games?
Then fine.
Yeah. Steve, do you have a boyfriend that doesn't play games?
Yep.
I play games. Totally straight. I swear, everybody listening.
But I think with Heavy Rain, it was a quick hitting. It was action packed, but nothing happened.
Action-packed with nothing happening.
I hate trying to describe this game to people, but that's what it is. It's action-packed, but you don't do anything. It's an amazing game. It's short. It's sweet. It's really good.
I'm curious, though, why is it that people don't finish the games they buy? You spent let's just, for the sake of argument, say you spent $60 on this game, you bought it day one, and you don't finish it. Is it because it's not that good? Do you lose interest? I mean, what is it about it? I mean, $60 for a lot of people is a lot of money.
It is.
That's an investment, and this is my entertainment, for however many hours of my life.
Well,
and I'm not going to go through with it.
Where do they get these statistics from? Because I finished most of the stuff I played.
It's got to be. Pete and I talked about this. They've got to be going off these days, at least, trophy data for getting to finish the game trophy. Because pretty much every game has a trophy or achievement for finishing the game.
And there's always one for right early in starting. So you got the first 10 minutes and you rent it or you just pop it in to see what it is. You don't get an achievement in 10 minutes. You get an achievement maybe 15 minutes in. Yep. And they can start, say, you got this achievement, so you officially started it. You got that achievement, so you officially ended it. And how many people got both?
It's a really interesting thing. I mean, console gamers should finish their games because you pay a lot for them. Like Pete and Steve and even Russell buy off Steam, and those are cheaper games. And, granted, you're not spending as much money, but you're still spending your money.
Yeah, for example, with Steam, I apparently own 311 games.
Yeah, I have the stats right here. Pete has just a little bit over 300 games. He has played right around a third of them. This is for his Steam account. The game he's played the most is Super Monday Night Combat, which is accounted for a total of 10% of his playtime. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours.
For 300 games, 10% on one game.
I played 91 hours of it.
And for me, I have a little over...
It's all multiplayer, right?
Yeah, it's a multiplayer game. For me, I have a little over 200 games in my Steam account. I have played right around half, and 17% of my time was in Civ 5, Civilization 5. So that's where I spent the majority of my time, was with that one game.
I think it's multiplayer games, maybe. A lot of multiplayer games suck hours away. I go home and basically there's 2 weeks in between each time we record this, and I've basically tried to allot a week where I can do whatever I want, and then a week to let me play the game that we're kind of focusing on. We did The Walking Dead, so I had to finish 3 episodes in 7 days, and I finished them in 4. But I don't really, not to say that I don't play my single player games, but it really has to suck me deep.
Yeah.
Suck me deep into the game.
Children, you're all children.
Phrasing.
You're all
that's
children.
Really what it is. A game really has to grab me to make me finish it. Killzone 3. Killzone 3 was really quick hitting versus Killzone 2. And I played that game in 2 sittings. It's 5.5 hours long. It was great. It was quick. It was over. And then I played the multiplayer. But multiplayer games, if I get a buddy online, say I jump online, and the guy that I play a lot of games with is online, and I just bought a brand new game. Do I want to go play Uncharted 3, Battlefield 3, The Last of Us, or any other of these games that are on multiplayer where I can talk to my buddy, I can have a little bit of good time, and then maybe I can go play the single player? I think multiplayer games really changed a lot of what I do in gaming, because I never played online for a long time. I'm probably the last person in this room who had internet connection of broadband. The first game I played online was Call of Duty 4, and it was with Russell, and it was a lot of fun. These guys were really good at Call of Duty 4. I went in, I wasn't good, they helped me, they stood next to me, they basically held my hand and helped me get better at the game. And I got better at it, and better and better and better, and then we changed, we played different games, but I think multiplayer games stop a lot of single-player play. Like Battlefield 3, I've literally never played past the second scene in the game.
Don't, because it's the worst single-player campaign ever.
But I still bought the game, and it's part of the game, and I could play through it. Do I? I'd rather play the multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely... I am probably the least inclined to multiplayer person here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But there are online games that, Unreal Tournament, that was 5 years of my life. Counter-Strike was a good year. There are games where I completely lose myself. I was pretty deep into Battlefield for a while. And Modern Warfare 2 was the last first-person shooter that I put in more than 100 hours into. And that was just, it's a flawed game, absolutely, but it was a fun game to play. And the only reason why I played so much of it is because I knew people that played it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if I'm playing an online game, it's a game that I don't know anybody else that has. Like Chivalry, we talked about that earlier. I don't know anybody that plays that because nobody had it until Pete bought it today. So I played all my hours in that game with just strangers. And I probably would have had a better time if I was playing with somebody else, but it was fun enough for me to keep going through it. it's rare that an online game will pull me away from a single-player game. I'm a little different, and this is going to start to sound like I'm elitist or egotistical or whatever, but just something that's kind of about me is, I've been writing my whole life. Writing is what I like to do. I've written a novel, I've written short stories, poems, all that stuff. When I sit down and watch a movie, I want to sit down and watch a movie. I don't want to talk to you about it. I don't want to hear your opinion on it until after it's done. I want to think about this movie as I'm watching it. I want to think about the screenplay. I want to think about this or that. With a single-player game, I want to think about the story. That's all I want to do. With multiplayer, there is no story. So it's just mindless fun, and it doesn't grip me like a single-player game does. When I listen to an album, I want to listen to every song in order. I don't like this new generation of iTunes where you just buy a single. You buy one song. That's shit. Bands should be writing albums that are good from start to finish. Games should be good from start to finish. I should not want to give up on your game after an hour.
Yeah.
You need to give me something every hour to keep me playing to the next hour. There's an old adage for writing. If you're writing a screenplay, there should be an action beat every 5 pages. Every 5 pages of a script, there should be something that keeps you going forward. Even if it is dialogue, you have to keep going forward. And there are far too many games that coast. We're just going to give you more combat because we need to pad this out.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought Metal Gear Rising was such an interesting example. That game is such a ball of energy. It took me 3 hours and 20 minutes to beat that game. I did not feel like I got ripped off because of that. I felt like that was an awesome experience. It was one of my favorite games from this year. I don't care it was that short. It was fun as hell.
Yeah.
And more games need to be like that. I'm not saying that they need to be short like that, but more games need to have something that pulls you in.
I think there's a lot of distractions out there too. Like if you're a console guy and the only thing you play on is Xbox and you've got Live and your friends are online, this goes back to Mass Effect. Yeah, Mass Effect was great. I loved playing Mass Effect, but I had Russell on my friends list. Russell and Carlos, one of his good friends, and playing a single-player game, especially a game like that has a lot of dialogue, you can't have other people in your ear. And a lot of people want to be in there. And like these guys wanted to talk to me, and I'm like, dude, I can't talk. And so I literally have to go offline to just be able to play my game. And not to say I didn't want to talk to Russell, but when you're playing a game that has decisions and you have to pay attention to specific dialogue, and you got Carlos jabbering gibberish and blah 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 blah, you just can't pay attention to Mass Effect, and I can't talk to people when I play those, and I think that has a lot to do with it too. I really do, because if you're talking to someone else, you're not paying attention to it, you're not getting the most out of it. I went to a couple movies with Steve, and I'm not really a big talker in movies. We can have a discussion about this later, but I'll have a tendency to lean in and say something, and Steve's just like, and I wait, and that's fine. I get it. I get Steve like that.
Steve turns into a dog and growls.
Yeah.
Ruff, 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 ruff.
But yeah, you really gotta pay attention when you're playing a single player game, and if you got someone on a chat, you can't do it.
Yeah, I want to finish the games I buy. And I talked about this before. I'm getting more selective with what I buy because I want to finish it, because it makes me feel like crap that I spent money on something that I'm not going to finish. I don't buy an album and not listen to it. I don't buy a DVD and not watch it. I don't buy a movie ticket and just turn around and leave the building. I finish what I start. Why don't I do this with video games? Why don't people do this with video games? What is it that's about a video game that people are not finishing it?
Because if you want to play this game and then there's another game that comes out a week later that you want to play that, and you're playing a game in the middle and you play 10 minutes of this one and you're like, oh, that's really good, I'll play that. And then this next game comes out next week, they go, oh, I want to play that game, let's play that one. So you've started 4 games in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny that this podcast has actually made me finish games that I probably wouldn't have. I mean, I hope I would have went back and finished The Walking Dead, but without you saying...
Let's be honest, you probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, that's the thing, is without the podcast, and you're going, I'm going to ruin the game for you. Well, shit, I got to play the game. I'm going to play the game. And it's kind of neat that the podcast is making me finish games. It's kind of like when the PlayStation Network went down. I beat like 4 games in that 5-week span.
I played all my PS2 games.
Exactly. You went back and you actually played games, and it was funny, without the ability to be online and connect to other people, I actually enjoyed being a gamer more.
And I think the other thing is, time is finite. You don't have all the time in the world, especially as kind of a functional adult. We're
not functioning adults in this room.
Yeah.
I'm not even functionally literate.
We're doing.
Yeah. Steve, that's why we don't read Steve's book. It's just letters and squigglies with some numbers thrown in.
It's a children's picture book.
I'd read that.
It's like 100 pages long for a children's picture book. It's really awful. I don't remember what I was... There's
Talking about lack of time, yeah.
Yeah, there's not enough time. You don't want to sit down and spend 6 hours on a shitty Deadpool game. You're not going to finish it.
No.
If you know that you get to a point where it drags or it's just not fun, and then the next new shiny game comes out that you got to get because everybody else is playing and you want to talk about it, or just it's going to be better, it's easy to jump ship. I went through my Steam games to jump back, and out of all my games, there's only 12 that I decided that fuck this, I was done. This game is awful. But to be fair, there are going to be plenty more in the apparently 122 I've never even looked at or touched. And for somehow one of those is The Secret of the Magic Crystal, which is I think a horse game.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Did you give that to me?
There was a game, like, people randomly got that somehow.
Horse racing game?
No, it's just like a horse game.
The pet your horse.
I remember, like, hearing people, like, all of a sudden start popping up, like, on your library and stuff. Like, I don't have it, but I know people that have it, they're like, I never would have bought this in a million years. I know that there's a lot of just people, like, kind of pranking people and, like, gifting it to them and stuff like that.
I don't know that many people.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've got 3 people on my Steam friends list, and none of them... gave it to me.
Murder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I got it. It was part of a humble bundle and got added in afterwards, and it makes sense. I got, to be honest, a lot of the games I have that I probably never will get to are, part of the bundles. You pay $5 for a game you really love, and another $5 to go to charities or whatever, and you get another 6 games that maybe one day you'll want to play.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like I get home from work. And I look at the clock, and I go, okay, I have X number of hours until I need to go to bed and get up. How do I want to spend this time? Okay, X number of hours is going to be, let's say 30 minutes for dinner. Then I've got to work out for an hour and a half, whatever it's going to be. Okay, well, that leaves me with this much time left over. I don't watch television, so I don't have to worry about that. But it's like, do I want to play a game? Do I want to write something? Do I want to work on some music? And it's when it comes down to those, it's like, well, 2 out of the 3 are a lot more productive than playing a video game. So video games end up falling farther down on my priority list. I'm playing less games than ever. And I'm getting to the point now where I am getting so selective with my games that in terms of major releases, the only ones I know I'm playing for sure for the last 6 months of this year are GTA 5 and beyond.
GTA 5 is going to take you 6 months.
And that's crazy because it's 2 games out of hundreds that are being released. They're the only 2 that I know for 100% certain I am buying and playing. And I will beat them. That's really strange because I know all of us, there's other games coming out that we're excited for. Nothing for me, though.
There's not a lot.
You've got everything coming out on the PlayStation 4 that you're interested in. You've got Madden.
Oh, well, yeah.
You've got Madden coming out, so you'll
That's
play
on
that.
PS4.
Yeah, so, I mean, you've got stuff.
Oh, Christmas is going to be great.
Yeah.
Christmas is going to be a really good year. This is going to be a really good year.
January, when the credit card bills come, fuck that.
Cash.
Yeah, I don't do credit cards.
Yeah.
My credit card's already at max. That $300 they gave me. But I'm petty.
I don't.
I'm pity.
I
Sorry,
don't.
not petty,
They give
pity.
me some ridiculous amount for no reason. It's great. I don't ever get anywhere near the max. I get paid off too. Regardless, moral of the story is...
Can I use your credit card?
No.
I already have.
Son of a bitch.
I stole Pete's identity like a year ago.
That's not funny.
Yeah.
Why are you guys laughing?
All right. Well, we want to thank you guys for listening. This is going to wrap us up for this week. We'll be back in a couple weeks. One of the things we're going to be working on is some side content aside from the podcast. So check the YouTube page, check the Facebook page, and keep afloat of that situation. We want to thank you again for listening. This is Pixel FM. Have a good night, guys.
Ta-ta.